What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is HUD Wednesday nights. The Eagles are the hottest team in the NFL, baby, and we're going to break it all down. Come talk with us.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Heel Chrome, Luke Brown, Greg Milakovic, Noah Eaton. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We're talking about the best team in football. You know, this is what we get to talk about. This is what we get to come on and run our mouths about. And it's a good time. At the end of the show, we'll get into college football playoff weekend. It begins, obviously, Friday night. Friday night kicks off, so we'll break the games down for you. Sixers back in action Friday after a week off, a game, another week off, and a game against the same team. And hopefully you can get
and a back-to-back.
And then a back-to-back. And then a back-to-back. But we'll talk a little 10-9-8 throughout the show. But listen, the conversation is the division title. It's here. It's right at our fingertips. It's in our palm. It's in our palm. We just got to close our hand on Sunday. That's all we got to do. We literally just got to go down there, close your hand, close it up, and we got the division. So it's going to be fun to break it down. It's going to be fun to talk about it. We know how this relationship goes when you talk about playing down in Washington. We've done it good. We've done it bad. It's been a rivalry per se that's pretty much always seems like it's split. So you're hoping that's not the case Sunday, but we'll break it all down. We'll give you our predictions, players of the game. But right, throw a poll question. The Eagles defense will once again shut down the Commanders offense. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Join the conversation tonight. Yes, agree. I mean, this defense is first in points against, first in yards against, first in average yards against, ninth in rushing. So that's probably where you could be like, oh, where can we get the Eagles? All right, they could probably run the ball against us a little bit. And if they do that, then they can have success, right? So Brian Robinson would be a guy you would want to shut down in this football game, and you would want to make them try to beat you throwing the football. That would be my objective going into Sunday, because I don't think they're good enough yet to do that consistently. Pass average against, we're first in football. First downs, we're giving up the least amount in football. So this is the best defense in football. I mean, you didn't need the numbers. You didn't need the numbers to let you know that out there, people. I mean, this is good to be here. I mean, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing. Thanks for being here. Great to have you guys. I mean, this is what Eagles football was built on when we first started watching. I know it's getting Noah right up in right in Noah's loins down there. I mean, when 6 to midnight talking 90s Eagles. Right, but
let's go, baby.
This is what we grew up on, which was great defenses, and it resonates in this city. And this one gets it done, not with glitz and glamour. This defense gets off the goddamn field, right? They don't have the turnovers. They're the best defense in football. They don't have 25 pick sixes. They don't have 1 million sacks. They get off the goddamn field. Everybody does their job, and they get off the field on third downs. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And they're so under the radar with it, too. They ever since the bye, they tackle well. Yeah. I mean, everything changed. And all of a sudden, we stopped tackling whenever we were tackling in practice. And we started really tackling something. And then we learned how to tackle again. And then muscle memory took over. Here we are. And they're like, I mean, how many big plays have we seen since week 4 throughout the rest of this year on a missed tackle? It's good to have you. Good to have you. I agree. I mean, they're not good enough offensively to score over 20. And I think if you take a team from 20 or less, you essentially shut them down. That's how I look at that. They're not good enough offensively to do that. I said it the first time we played them. I'll double down and say it again. They're good offensively. They're not good enough to be racking up points. They shouldn't be, unless that comes with us giving the football up. right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that kind of stuff, but they're not good enough to go 80, 80, 80, 80. Unless, like I said, our Achilles heel, you could say, is 9th against the rush, right? So if they sustain that, that's where you could say, hey, where can Washington beat you? Right there. I mean, they can beat us. I'm not saying they can't. I just don't see an offensive explosion versus defense. And that's better since the first time we played. So there's what I got, boys. I agree. It's hard. I mean, if we got somebody disagreeing about anything to do with the defense, I'd like to have you too. Seriously, it's unbelievable. But go ahead. Let's spin it around. Spin it around.
Yeah. I mean, I agree to the poll as well. I mean, week in and week out, this defense is just putting its stamp on every single ball game. When you talk about the playmakers on this defense, secondary, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have been unbelievable. And obviously, we already know Jalen Carter might be one of the best defenders in football. And in a year or two, we might be talking about him on the same level of a playmaker and a game changer as a Micah Parsons if we're not there right now. We're getting there with this kid. And clearly, the Eagles benefited from, whatever issues he had going on in college. But, the thing too, Tom, is we're talking about their 9th in rushing defense, right? And that's with the first 4 weeks really kind of feeling yourself out. I mean, I would love to see what their numbers are from week 6 on and where they rank in rushing defense. Because right around then is when you talk about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter absolutely shutting down the middle of the field and plugging up those holes. And that's the one thing Jordan Davis does do really well, right? And we knew that coming in, is that he could stop the run. He was a run stopper, and he's come into his own this year. So, I'm interested to see which Washington team shows up because, I do think there could be. This week was a weird barometer to measure them. They could have been suffering from a little bit of a fatigue, so I do expect that they're going to have a little more success offensively in this ball game than we saw in the first game. But that being said, I mean, listen, if this team can get to the quarterback and get to Jaden Daniels and make him make mistakes, they're cruising. I mean, they're in a really good – this kid can make plays. He's a playmaker. So I think this is another really good gauge along with the Lamar game. When you talk about guys who can extend plays and do something special with the ball, if they have another week like that, I mean, we're going to be talking about this defense is this the best defense we've ever seen in our lifetimes in Philadelphia in a single season.
Yeah.
Luke.
All right, I'll go. Yeah, no, I definitely
Round the
agree
horn,
for
Luke.
sure. All right, yeah. Actually, I'm rookie for some reason. Yeah, I agree for sure. And the Ravens and the Rams are among the two probably the most explosive and consistent offenses in the entire league, and they've completely shut them down. And I think from more of a national perspective, I think a lot of conversations are revolved around Eagles, Lions. That's kind of where people want to go. And people are so focused on the fact that could be a shootout game, where I just totally disagree. I get it, how good the Lions offense is, how productive they are. I understand that completely. But the 2 points that are brought up all the time are that one, it's going to be a shootout game, and two, that they have the coaching mismatch. Both points I could not disagree with more. I mean, shootout-wise, our defense has stopped the most electrifying and consistent offenses the entire season, it seems like, from week 6 on. And secondly, you want to bring up this head coaching thing. We're all shaking our heads at the stuff that he pulled last week with the onside kick. Not even a surprise anymore. You have to tell the other team that you're going to do it. Questionable decisions. We also forget, and I hate on the guy all the time, Sirianni's been to a Super Bowl. So you're really comparing two guys that are fairly similar. One guy's been to a Super Bowl, the other guy hasn't. And this guy's cost him in big games all the time. So I look at not only this week, but moving forward, this defense is going to win them the biggest games eventually that they play, not just this week.
It's interesting you brought that up too, Luke, when you talk about the play calling by Dan Campbell this week, right? We watched the first 3, not even I'd say at least weeks 2 and 3 specifically, right, where you saw some really questionable calls from Nick Sirianni, but we've seen that from him his entire tenure. But the national perspective is this the coach? Is this coach going to be their biggest detriment? Is he going to cost them in the biggest moments, right? And that's all they talked about. Is Sirianni on the way out? This and that. Now you see what they've done since the bye week. On the other side, though, you see Dan Campbell, who does a lot of the same type of aggressive plays. And nothing but giving passes all week. Everybody's giving passes all week.
The Lions factor.
That call was so egregious. That was more egregious than anything Nick's called this year. And I like Dan Campbell as a coach, but it does go to the national hypocrisy of, I think we've heard it said on a lot of these shows from the constituents saying, is it I don't like Nick Sirianni thing. I think we've heard that talked about a lot, and I think that really factors in on a personal level how they judge him. Because, listen, Sirianni's coached almost the same way since 2022, but just 2022, almost every time it worked out.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just funny to me to see how at this point in the season, when this team is now having a team breathing down their neck, and they have injuries, and they can't have your coach giving away opportunities when you're missing all the ponies on defense and you lost one of your biggest ones on offense, why we're giving passes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Shouldn't. It is true. I mean, I think one guy is looked at as more of like a football tough guy and a football guy, and I don't think Sirianni
one of the boys
look like that. Yep.
It's the former. It's former player kind of
yeah,
thing.
He
speaks to the locker room and
it's what they want to do, and yeah. But we're better than them, because of all their injuries. If they were healthy,
they got 13 guys on IR.
Listen, I think there's an argument. There's an argument if they didn't have all the injuries on who would be better. But I don't know.
For sure.
Because even if you look at offensively, even with Montgomery being down, I still think they have a lot of firepower.
Yeah,
but defensively, this team, there's not even a comparison. It's not even close.
No, when you take out one of the best pass rushers in football, right there it was like, hey, you're not going to be as good.
Yeah,
you're just not going to be as good no matter what you do. You could bring in Smith and you could bring in other guys. They're not him. So
unless they went to the Raiders and got Crosby. That might have been a move, but which was talked about, but we knew probably wasn't going to happen. There's no way you're filling that void.
Yeah,
that's us losing Jalen Carter right now. Knock on wood. That's exactly what that would be.
Yeah, you can't. Sometimes you can't overcome certain things.
And you brought it up. Good job.
I mean, their defense is so decimated, guys. It's not even guaranteed that the Lions win a playoff game. And I know everybody's talking, we're going to have to go to Detroit for the NFC Championship game. I don't know. A team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers may take care of the Lions for us.
Well, with the way Minnesota's playing right now, it's not even a guarantee they're going to have home field.
Correct. Far from it.
And they play the Lions and Vikes. The Lions and Vikes, they play each other week 18. So that'll probably be for the division.
One of them plays the Packers. There's still a long way to go with that stuff. But yeah, back to the poll.
But back to the Eagles, I absolutely agree to the poll. Crum, you brought up how this offense, or all you guys have brought up how the offense can be had for the Commanders, and you look at their last game, and I know the NFL is week to week, and you can't always go off of what happened in the previous week, but the Commanders love, and a lot of teams do this, but the Commanders love to go in lulls throughout the middle of the game, right? They start off fast. They're the opposite of the Eagles, right? They start off fast. They start off quick, and then they just play like boring football throughout the second, third, and fourth quarter. Like, there's no way that the New Orleans Saints, with you, me, and everybody else playing quarterback, should have even had a chance to win that game, let alone been in it, right? And I think that's what the Commanders do, is they allow teams to hang around, and you can't allow us to hang around, because then we'll just run by you, right? We'll take our offensive firepower and we'll just go by you. Tommy, I completely agree. I don't think that they have the firepower to get by us, right? To put up a big number on us, right? I think if they beat us, it's a 2017 type of game, right? It's a 24-21 type of like muck 'em up game, like a Phillies Eagles Commanders game usually is, right? But the final thing I look at too is as athletic as he is, and we have the same frustration and problem with our quarterback, is Jaden Daniels can be sacked, right? Jaden Daniels can be had. And I think, there's rumors of us getting Bryce Huff back, right? I think we're getting some health back on our defensive line, and we're getting another body there to work in some snaps. And I think we're going to have a really big day in the backfield with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I want to say we sacked them like 7 times or 5 times the first time we saw him. I could be way off on that. I just felt like we got to him.
Yeah, I will look it up and see. But I agree with you, Tommy. I think it feels like we did get to him a bunch.
Well, we shut it down in the back end. So, I mean, it's hard to throw the football on us. From what the eyes tell me, it's been really hard for teams to throw the football on us consistently.
3 sacks.
3, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not that. Yeah.
But he was 22 of 32 for 191. So,
yeah,
I mean, he threw 32 times and couldn't get 200 yards.
Yeah, he can't. They try to beat him with his arm as a rookie. He's just not there yet. And because they don't have, no Zach Ertz probably this week, right? So, I mean.
Oh, is that? I thought
he had a concussion, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I would assume.
But who hurt us a lot last time we played was Austin Eckler, and he's obviously not playing.
Yeah,
right.
They didn't have Brian Robinson last
catches.
Time.
They did have Brian Robinson.
They didn't.
They did.
They did.
He was 16 for 63 with a tutty
versus us.
Yeah,
I could have swore he was hurt.
Yeah, I think he had the opening touchdown in the game.
He did have the opening touchdown, but then didn't.
Maybe he came back that week then.
Maybe he came back for us, I think.
All right, because I just remember he was a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Either way, they have some guys for sure. Terry can hurt you. It's not like they can't hurt you, but they're just not.
But he's going to Quinyanamo Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, we're on a roll. Make it 11 in a row. I agree to the poll. And 11 in a row sounds nice, doesn't it, fellas?
It sure does.
I'll take it. Shit. I don't know. I think the biggest thing, I mean, sure, you can point to the obvious and you shut down corner and Quinyon Mitchell, and you got the game wrecker, Jalen Carter. But man, Vic Fangio, man, he's done a hell of a job getting these young guys ready to play right away, especially with DeJean and Mitchell, and then Nakobe Dean just ready to rock and roll. I mean, he's having a breakout year. He certainly showed signs of promise last year, but he's definitely taken off. And how about a guy like Zach Bond? You know what I mean? He had no pedigree before he got to town here, and all he's done is become one of the best linebackers in the NFL right now. And hats off to the defensive side of the ball. Period. I mean, they're the reason why we're here. I mean, obviously Saquon Barkley on the offensive side of the ball he's having, close to a record-breaking season, and but this defense is, I would say, this is the best Eagles defense in franchise history when you factor in, all the rule changes in the NFL and the way the game is played today and how a lot of defenses are neutered because of all the rules that cater to the offense. So for what, in the modern game and for what the Eagles defensively are doing now, for my money, this is the best Eagles defensive unit in franchise history, and that is certainly saying something.
Well, that's saying a lot, and you're listen, okay, I don't think you're wrong right now. I mean, they've proven a lot, but I'll make that assessment come playoff time. Because I that's what I think they are. I think they're going to go down as that. I think they're single-handedly going to might carry us to Broad Street. I think they're that good. That's how good they've been.
Yeah.
So I mean,
100%
I watched
agree.
it. Yeah, I watched it. So I'm not Captain Obvious here. But if they do that, no, I completely agree with you. But I'm not willing to say that yet until like I'm just scared to jinx it. Right. So
I hear you.
That far to say, hey, it's the best I've ever seen. They're great. They've done it in different ways, which is even.
Well, I say the best I've ever seen, given today's rules in today's game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's guys that play in the '90s that would kill guys right now.
Yeah.
You know, you can't compare. I don't compare it like that. I compare about the numbers.
Right.
How dominant are they in their generation? In their era, how dominant are they? And they're dominant right now. The numbers back in a big way.
Yeah, in this 10-game win streak, they've allowed over 20 points one time.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
it's crazy. It's crazy in modern day NFL. In the modern day NFL, you ain't losing.
Here's the even crazier thing. This could all come full circle. Our last loss was down in Tampa when we looked like complete shit on both sides of the ball. All right, we couldn't tackle anybody in the open field. You know, Jalen Hurts didn't know what he was doing. All right, we were a complete train wreck. For some reason, I have a funny feeling we're going to have a rematch against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, and we're going to get our revenge. I mean, I know that's a little down the road, but
no, that's a road that I don't want to go. If you ask me if there's a team in the NFL that I probably don't want to see in the playoffs, it would probably be Tampa Bay.
It's Tampa Bay.
Yeah, like it's one. Like nobody else. No, you can say Minnesota, I'll play you on the lake. Right?
Detroit, I'll play tomorrow, right?
Yeah, like Detroit, I'll play you yesterday with all the injuries you have. So there's a lot of teams that I got no problem going and seeing you. I'll go to your building too. You don't even got to come here. I'll come to you. Hey, save the gas. Save the gas. We'll come to you. So I mean, that's the only team that I say, shit, they can probably hold us to 17. They will probably hold us to 17 and score 21. And here we are. Defense played great. We lose 21-17 because we still haven't figured out Todd Bowles. The rest of the league
how to beat Todd Bowles.
Yeah, the rest of the league can beat Todd Bowles. It's not the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's so true.
I understand your fears, but
Baker,
I
thought you were spinning it all over us.
I thought maybe the Super Bowl was in Tampa. I forgot where. I don't know where the Super Bowl is.
New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans.
I never give a shit until like it's the week. We're there. Okay, that's where it is. Cool. So I thought you were going that. Hey, they'll go to Raymond James where they didn't tackle well, and they'll totally redeem themselves in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that wasn't it. But the other option B, I'm not taking, which is playing.
No bueno.
No thanks.
Well, I mean, the good news is they'd have to come to an ice cold link.
We've done this before.
I hear you.
We've done this before.
I was at the vet. God damn it.
Then why would you wish?
I was in that end zone. Come on, Noah. Why are you bringing back horrors?
I was in section 729.
I was a little lower than you.
729. You're not even there. I mean, you're
player tickets.
You're on a flyover. I mean, 729. It's a flyover. It's unbelievable. I mean,
section 729, road 28 at the top of the vet.
Section existed.
It was a little speck. Like when I remember being up that high. You're little specks. Everything was a speck. The good old days. Just breathing in the turf.
You know, it's interesting too when you watch, like we talk about guys like Darius Slay, right? He's not the same player that he was, but I don't know if it is just the youth around him, but he's looked a lot better this year. And like Quinyon Mitchell's season so far, it's unbelievable. I don't know if you guys saw, he's now the odds-on favorite to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I marvel at watching him play. And what's amazing about it is you never hear his name. Like when you watch a game, you never hear his name, which is like it's remarkable because nobody can do anything against this kid. And I loved seeing him in that little scrum with Slay and the wide receiver. I think it was Washington, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Getting right in there and throwing fists. Right in there picking up for his teammates.
I love Quinyon just going in there throwing haymakers, and it goes to show you, Crum, too, is like how he went out and made this defense and this roster tougher.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to, you got to throw fists to be tough. Right. But you ain't going to come in here and try to bully somebody. You ain't coming in here, Pittsburgh, and thinking you're more physical and you're tougher. He made a real emphasis on going and getting tougher. And
Sure
it's not by accident. Right. Quinyon's a guy who's a physical kid, and you see it. We see it weekly. Obviously, CJ is a no-brainer in terms of physicality from a safety position. So, Zach Bowen's a physical guy. I mean, he's really going out of his way. And then up front, obviously, we've drafted physical cats. I mean, we got some physical junkies up there, but it's really fun to watch, and it shows you how defense has always been built from the tackles to the linebackers to your safeties. And if you're strong up the middle, you're going to win a lot. And they are super strong when you talk about Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams. Those three have been fantastic. Both linebackers have been fantastic. They're both have over 100 combined tackles each, which if you told us that, we would have two linebackers coming in a year like that, we'd be hard as a rock.
I don't think we ever thought we were going to have
turbulence
any linebackers along those lines for years to come.
Yeah. And Reed and CJ have been awesome. So after week 4, right? So, I mean, this isn't hard. You talk about baseball, catcher, shortstop, second baseman, center fielder, pitcher, obviously. You went up the middle. This is the 101. Let's break it down to the simplest form. I feel like Howie went back into the office and said, how do you win again? You know what I mean? He'll have to circle back, go back in the closet, and it's just him, and there's nothing. It's it's a little box. He just goes back in.
He's in a lab.
He just goes, how do you win again, Howie? How do you win again?
Yeah.
Right? And it hits him. You went up the middle. You went up the middle. And then he goes, look at what Kirby's got in Georgia right now. And then he just goes, I'll just draft all those guys. And he literally drafted all those guys. It's amazing. He has their defense. We literally have their defense here. It's fun to watch. Nolan Smith turned his life around, showing that, hey, it was a reach early in the first round right there. He sort of stash picks. You don't really like doing that, but he's definitely turned the corner. So you love that his athleticism has come to play. And then it just shows you how great of a coaching staff you have. That if you draft athletes, you turn them into even better football players, right? So there's a lot of we could do 4 hours on this defense tonight, seriously. Sure. And
we didn't even talk about Nakobe either.
No, besides that, he had over 100 combined tackles. That's as far as
unbelievable.
I don't usually like giving this guy any credit, but he had a really good tweet on a couple of days ago. Elliot Short Parks. He said in 2017, I think the Eagles were special but not mad. In 2022, I think the Eagles were very good, but not really special or mad. In 2024, this Eagles team is very lethal combination of very good, very special, and very mad. And you see that.
It's almost like it's what they're doing.
They have an edge to them. They play angry.
Well, first off, you drafted guys with edges.
Yes.
Okay, you see it.
Back to your point about Howie, right, Tommy?
Yeah, we're the only team during wins where there's confrontation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're the only
where there's storyline, where there's more storylines of a win.
You got a bunch of dogs. We talk about the Phillies. Go get some guys that had to get on a raft. You know what I mean? Go get some guys that it was hard for them. They had to scratch and claw for everything they had in their life. Right? It's almost like we win a game and you got two coaches going after each other. It's a lot of fire and bravado from this whole roster. And you can see them mad because they're using the media. They're using the media and the bullshit that is Philadelphia sports media, excluding A2D from that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. But because it's toxic. It's toxic. People get excited to lose. I've never witnessed people who are excited for a loss because they know people are going to be mad and it's going to drive ratings. We should take a second and thank the football gods for what we have. We should, because we've sat through bullshit. We've sat through terrible organization, terrible ran teams, terrible general managers. And we got a general manager who continues to redeem himself when he's about to get his ass fired. I've never seen anything like it. We'll never see anything like it in our lifetime.
He's like a
And
cat.
hopefully he doesn't have to do it again. Like, hopefully his draft picks are core guys, which we believe they are, that are here for a while. And that's what makes this defense even, my last part of this, right? Makes my defense even more exciting is how they're all a bunch of puppies.
Yeah.
The young group with an old wise man leading them. Like, you know what I mean? And he even said they're all sponges with him.
Yeah.
They all want to learn. They all want to get better. Holy shit.
I mean, you got no, absolutely, Tommy. And you got like awesome. Nolan Smith posted a video of Vic cooking and stuff like that, right? Like, you don't get that from an all veteran group, right? You get that with that mix that this defense has of those young kids, those sponges, those guys that are just glued to Vic's every word on how to play defense in this NFL, and they're really shining.
No, they are. Umberto, I say TJ. I mean, I say Bond's better.
Oh, it's not close.
He's more athletic.
All due respect to TJ.
I think it's close, but yeah, I
TJ
mean,
was
I
pretty good. TJ was good that Super Bowl.
He was good. Very shocked he didn't resign.
Remember him. He's made us forget him, though. Right? To the point.
Right. Yeah.
To the point. He made us forget him. He is my son. He is my son.
You were right.
Both Wisconsin guys, though. Both Wisconsin guys.
Oh, you're right.
There you go.
Something to be said about it. Playing on the ice.
Yeah. Playing in cold weather.
It's great the toughness that SMU doesn't have.
Hell no.
Hell no. Thinking they're going to come in here.
No, don't start. Don't start, because then you lose. You start puffing. If you start puffing around. Yeah.
If I start puffing, we're done.
Yeah, just calm down. Let Noah talk about when we get there by 50, and you just stay the course, Greg.
Yep.
Stay the course.
We are.
I'm just here so we don't get fined.
I mean, Luke's already responsible for a transfer, so it's not anything else happen. All right, let's get into some score predictions. I mean, Noah, this is unbelievable. Noah's sick as a dog. He's just Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken tonight. I don't know. I'll go last because I like to throw you guys curveballs every once in a while.
All right, cool. I'll go.
I just knew that was gonna...
There you go.
Have at it, buddy.
All right. Of course, I got the Birds winning. Of course, we're gonna score 35 points, and I think it's going to be a nice ride home from Washington. I got the Birds 35-17.
All right, that's a well-respected score prediction out of you. Look at you.
35.
You know it.
35-17.
Saquon has a big day.
What is the line? Anyone? I can look it up. Is
Three and a half.
A head note a line? 3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
So where's touchdown favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they say about defenses.
33-22.
Interesting. I was gonna go 22-19.
I'm going to go 29-20 Birds.
Good. Never knew what it felt like really to go last too often.
Makes you think a little bit.
No, I like it.
Save the best for last, right?
Because you don't get reactionary going last. You know what I mean? Well, you do. You can get reactionary off the picks in front of you, but you don't. You have time to settle in.
Yeah. Brace yourself for a landing. Hold on,
Yes.
Allah.
So by saying that, I think the 85 Bears show up Sunday. I'm going 34-10. A roll job. Roll job.
That's right.
To me.
You talk pissed off. You talk your talk from Elliott down there, which is a great tweet from him.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. And we're watching it week in, week out. I mean, to sit here and act like that on division on the line, right? A division on the line that we would be the type of football team to go put our foot on your throat early.
Yep.
Early. We showed a little signs of life last week. of getting on the board early. I actually texted Greg Sweeps and Wilson. I said, we're going to lose this game at halftime because I thought they were going to score a touchdown. I said, everybody got their early start. Everybody got there early. Now he won't score again for the rest of the goddamn game because how you finish doesn't matter to people. Everybody got there early. And you had that. I'm sure everybody had that vibe like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
we're going to lose this game now. So credit that we closed it out like we did. But, yeah, I don't know. They don't concern me. They haven't since the beginning of the year. I thought they were definitely improved. They're better, but they're not a threat. They're a threat to be better. They're not a threat to us on what we think we are as a football team. And that continues now going into the final weeks of the season. That has not changed. They are improved, but we are arguably the best team in football. Like arguably, I mean, you can make a case for the Chiefs. You can make a case for the Bills. You can make a case for the Vikings if you're an idiot. You can make a case for the Lions. The Vikings the only one would say if you're an idiot. I think they're so much better. They are, but it's like I cannot trust Sam Darnold to win me a big game in the playoffs yet. Until he does it. He might go do it. I don't know. Right. But like it's one of those things that's fair to say. Like he revived his career and credit to him, Justin Jefferson, and we'll help you do that.
Yeah.
and he's in a dome. You know, he's not in New York having to play in that environment. So it's a win-win for Sammy Darnold. But he saw ghosts at one point, and I just can't trust that come playoff time when defenses get better. So, you know, we're awesome. That's it.
No, it's a really good spot to be in, Tommy, and you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, what he's done under Kevin O'Connell has probably gotten Kevin O'Connell which is I didn't think in my mind was the coach of the year.
I think he's a great coach.
Up until this week, it was Mike Tomlin to me. But now I think KOC has got it.
Yep.
Especially if they end.
Jury's out because Tomlin. Let's see how they all finish out here.
Yeah, but if Minnesota ends the number 1 seed or
they are
2 seed,
they are. They're not going to beat Green Bay. So
that's true. Could be. But anyway,
that game's in Green Bay. Well, not anyway. Is that game in Green Bay? I feel like that game's in Green Bay.
No, I was just saying Darnold's done a good job reviving his career for now.
No, yes, but now I need to know where that game is.
Give me a second.
Now that's in my head. I feel like that game's in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does too. Because I mean, in hindsight, it almost looks like the Jets have become, the new Bears in terms of it's a black hole for quarterbacks. Like I don't think you can really judge anybody that comes out of there.
No, you can't.
In Minnesota.
In Minnesota, shit! I took my whole.
You know what's really funny about that too, Crumbs? I heard a quote the other day from when the general manager was hired over there, and he said, "We can't repeat this process." This is insane. If I were a Bears fan, I would lose my mind. He said when he was hired, we can't repeat the process of bringing in new quarterback and then afterward bringing in new coaching and leadership, and he did the exact same thing. He fired their coach.
100%.
He's about to hire. He did the exact same thing.
They should have got rid of the coach last year.
When all he had to do was fire the coach last year.
Well, I will give a pass on one thing with that. If you're going to do it right away. Like do it when you did it then. Like don't even wait.
Yeah, but
the season. Like if you want to, because now you're going into next year, and this is a guy you hope to be there for the next.
Yeah, but you can't even give them credit for that because they've done this so many times.
Oh, I'm not giving them credit for anything.
The same way. They it's embarrassing.
That organization hasn't had a franchise quarterback since Sid Luckman in like the 1950s.
They're 0-9 since the Hail Mary, or 0-8.
Yeah.
Since the Hail Mary. I mean, you want to talk about like a total tailspin. I mean, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, they're 4-10 now, right? Or no, 4-9.
Whatever it is, they're 4 and a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-10.
Yeah. Wow. They started off 4-2. Holy shit.
I mean, they have so much offensive talent, but it's a young quarterback. Like it takes time to master. Like Luke was essentially just saying, it takes time to master an offense. So, now it's a restart on that, and now you got to hope you have a guy here for the next, Bears fans the next decade, right? Because, you want your quarterback to have time to master what the system is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advantage in our situation, having the consistency of Nick Sirianni here for Jalen, but on the other side of things, bringing in Saquon Barkley with a new play caller and Kellen Moore is such an easy relaxation for a quarterback, right? Because it's like it gives you time. Like it just gives you time to continue to learn the nuances of a new offense, because that does take time. Now, the older you get, the easier it should become because the game's slow down. But when you're Caleb's age, the game's so fast still that now you have a new play caller in the middle of your season or at the end of the season, whatever. You're not winning games. Yeah. It's almost impossible. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it's just something I think we take for granted is, or not for granted, but we don't really think about as fans is the importance of these guys having some chemistry with a goddamn system. In the world 100%. of AAU sports, everybody just jumps around, right? To college sports has now become everybody jumps around. To pro sports, everybody jumps around. Well, how good can you be if you stay somewhere? Like, how good could you be if you gain some damn chemistry? Right? Like, think about that for these young athletes and even the pros for quarterbacks. Like, we draft quarterbacks and we don't give them time. Like, we don't give them time under a play caller and under, like, this guy's your guy and give it a minute. Give it 3 years from to really learn the offense and make a decision. No, just some ranting. I think we're lucky.
No, you're absolutely right.
We're lucky to have what we have.
And we talk about it with our basketball team all the time, right? We always talk about it with, continuity with Joel and learning how to play with someone like that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, we saw, you see it all around the league. Sam Darnold, early in his career, had so many different type of offensive coordinators. Bryce Young, you look at all the guys that have stunk right out the gate, and then they get to a place where they feel comfortable, whether it's their first year with them or not, but the comfortability factor's there. Baker Mayfield's probably the best example going on right now, right? Had a bunch of different offensive coordinators in Cleveland, didn't have any comfortability there, felt like his back was always against the wall, goes to L.A. with McVay and gets a little bit of his swagger back, and then falls right in home in Tampa Bay, and look where his career's gone. Tommy doesn't have to disown his son anymore.
Jose, let's hope, by the way, Jose, because there is little chatter that Kellen Moore might be getting some head coaching looks this offseason.
Yeah, he'll definitely get looks. I don't know if he'll be a top of the line name, though. I think there's definitely a chance he comes back.
Well, let's see. This team gets to a Super Bowl. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it's
when they win a Super Bowl. When they're done winning the Super Bowl and we're on Broad Street, he'll probably be up for some jobs. But I think what's going to end up costing him getting that job is people have eyeballs. People aren't stupid. Well, some GMs are stupid, right? Some owners are stupid, but they have eyeballs in the fact that, like, look at this offense. Like if you're just good at your job, they're going to be pretty good. Like, it's got to be good at your job. So just show up. Like, if you have a pulse and you show up and you're not eating Thanksgiving over at Jalen's house, like Brian Johnson, you guys are going to be really good, right? I mean, Shane Steichen's a perfect example of that. They're not good.
Yeah.
They're not good. They had a good little run their first year, but they're not good. And Shane's a smart guy, but it's not gonna, I don't know. There's my hope. I'm hoping for him to stay. So
goes back to not having a quarterback.
Yeah,
I like that guy as a running back. I do. He runs people to hell over. I mean, he's a monster of a dude. He really is. Like when they QB draw from the 5, it's like a tush push.
Yeah.
They really is. It's like when the Colts QB draw from the 5, it's like he freaking runs through like.
I mean, he since high school he's had less than like 20 or so starts.
I know, but he'll run everybody over,
which is insane. 20 starts ago he was playing in high school, and he's in
but that's another example of give him time. Then,
yeah,
if you're gonna do it, and he's gonna be your guy, like because he has the arm strength, like he's zippity doo dah,
right? He's
got all the physical attributes, and he'll run your ass over. It's like almost, hey, put the pills down, or say, hey, Jimmy, lay off the oxys tonight, right?
Absolutely.
And no whiskey tonight, Jimbo, because you just need to let Steichen and him stay together. You just have to let it. You have to let it continue. Sometimes organizationally, you're just tied at the hip until you're willing to part ways with both.
But think about how fortunate we are. I mean, relatively speaking, look at the success we've had over the last 10, 20 years or whatever, and how many, even look at since the Super Bowl year, where since 2017 when we won it all with Doug Peterson, right? We ended up firing him. In comes Nick Sirianni, and we were able to, we had that awful 2020 year, but we were able to rebound relatively quickly. That was a pretty short rebuild. And then for Sirianni, I mean, I know
in NFL history.
I mean, I know he frustrates us at times, and we're scratching our head sometimes. But I'll tell you what, the guy wins. Him and Jalen together, they've done nothing but win. No, they haven't won it all yet, but we're hoping that changes in February. But they've done nothing but win, guys. And, and we've had a change at critical positions like offensive coordinator. You had Brian Johnson last year. Out he goes. Put in Kellen Moore, and we've taken off like a fucking rocket. I mean,
thanks, James.
Yeah, thanks, James. Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, James.
Thank you, brother. Welcome to the team.
Well, Chucks, they do. They always have.
And as you guys alluded,
running backs have always mattered, and I think you're seeing it more this year, especially when some of these backs went to better football teams. Right? They left places that they were drafted high. The team was never good. When you talk about Josh Jacobs and you talk about Saquon Barkley, right? And just to name two of them, they went to better teams. And then you went at Derrick Henry when Tennessee was good. He was a big reason.
Yeah,
obviously went to a Tennessee on steroids in Baltimore, and now look at all these organizations. Look at all these teams. They're better than they were. So it's not a coincidence.
Yep.
It really isn't. They never went away. In my opinion, it was just so many are drafted so high that the teams aren't good enough.
Just like quarterbacks.
Yeah, like the teams just never can be good enough around them.
Yeah.
Like Jacobs goes
it's a short shelf life for running backs, right? So kind of by the time the organization, when they're drafted where they're at, a lot of times by the time the organization is good, they're kind of already, mid or towards the end of their prime, trying to get that next contract. And it sucks. It's a weird position. There's a lot of demand and beat up on the body that doesn't necessarily reap the fruits of the labor.
Well, how about this? Running backs matter when they have a quarterback. Okay, that's when running backs matter. Running backs don't matter if you don't have a quarterback, because they can't carry you by themselves when you come put 8-9 in the box. It's unfair to ask, right? And
Saquon tried to do it for 5 years before he got here.
Yeah, hard to do. So they can't bring you out of being a bad football team, but they can take a good football team to a great one. That's what they can do. They can take a good one that was the Philadelphia Eagles, a really good football team that we all thought, to a great one. That's what the addition of Special does. Because he's not even, like, Jacobs is awesome. And then there's Saquon. Like Jacobs, I love Jacobs, but Saquon's on another level of this.
Well, even like we talked about this before, but even like the guy we had last year, DeAndre Swift, he's a really good running back.
Good point.
Yeah.
But then you look at what Saquon's doing with essentially the same team and weapons, and it's like stupid.
Well, we also didn't use the running game last year at all either.
Correct.
So last year was like, hey, I'm going to.
I will give you 100% there.
I'm coming over for Thanksgiving. We're going to throw the ball 42 times. We'll get you every incentive you want in that deal.
It's my best.
Hey, Brian, do you want a leftover plate to go? Oh, my Lord.
Hey, Brian,
but look, I mean, it's no secret. When you have a great offensive line, a pretty damn good quarterback, and a great running back, you're going to score points. You're going to move the ball.
Holy
and
shit.
you're going to win a lot of football games.
This one's hard. This is a hard question, Josh. Who's had more of a bigger impact on the Eagles, Saquon or Fangio?
I think it's Fangio, and it's not a knock to what Saquon's done. But
but running back.
This offense without Saquon, I think, with the defense like this last year, makes a run. Remember what that was like last year, guys, at the end of the year. This team couldn't stop anybody.
That's right.
Anybody. I mean, I have never in my life watched a team in a, I guess, say like a 6-game stretch that it looked like from the moment the ball was kicked off to the very end of the game that the other team just went right down the field. Every possession.
Yep.
And now this year they are the number 1 defense in football.
Yeah,
We're talking about them being the greatest defense possibly in the history of the organization.
all time.
I agree with you, Mike, because Fangio has brought accountability back to this organization.
Yeah,
He demands excellence from his players. He makes you work hard, because if you don't work hard, you won't stay long.
No, you're right. I mean, look at Devin White, right? But
Yep.
and the other thing,
Oh,
right?
here we go.
Saquon's effect is
Well, can I give you Saquon's effect?
yeah.
Because we talked about angry, right? And this is a guy who is angry. He's run angry. He's hurdled backwards angry. Everything he's done's been angry. I think his leadership. See, players play, right? We always talk about it. Coaching matters. Of course it does. And that's not, I think Vic's a huge importance of our turnaround here. I'm not a moron. But to give the Saquon side of it, I don't know how many times you have the opportunity to get greatness that is also unselfish and also just wants to win and is also a great leader. And is also a 3-down back. I mean, you got the full package when you went and signed Saquon Barkley to $13 million a season. You went and helped the culture of a locker room, which I think is we forget, not us, but like it's easy to forget what the tailspin of last year and what happened and the disconnect from players to coaches to each other. And I think when you go out and you bring in a guy of his caliber and all the other things I just mentioned, I think it changes your locker room.
I agree.
So there's my argument for Saquon, just to be different.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But I also look at, for Saquon to do what he's doing, there are other great players on this team, like an A.J. Brown, who is almost uncoverable for the other team. That changes the aspect of the offense. The dual threat that Jalen Hurts can be changes the aspect. And we've seen Saquon have those qualities and try to do it on his own with a very underwhelming, mediocre quarterback. And he couldn't do it. When I look at Fangio and I see what he has done for a guy like a Nakobe Dean who looked like a bust, for Brandon Graham, who last year everybody said he was washed, came back this year in a limited role, but in that limited role, he was playing very, very well and constantly making big plays. Zach Bond having a career year at this point.
But also signed, right? Like who knows? Who knows if Sean Desai has C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell. I'm not saying.
No, I know.
But Zach Bond, year 2 of Jalen Carter, right? A different front, a healthy Nakobe Dean, like things that we just didn't have last year. Like the defense was also, Vic gets a ton of credit, but his defense was also upgraded in a big way in the offseason too. I mean, it was addressed. Holes were addressed, in my opinion, on why we thought this team was better. But I think Vic's the icing on the cake. He's what puts it from like being top 10 to the number 1 defense, right? Yeah. I think he just puts it over the top because the roster is 1,000 times better than last year's defense.
Yeah. Defensively wise, yes.
Yeah. But that's not taking anything away. You got to take that talent and you now got to make it work too. So it's not like everybody can do it. No, he had to go do it. So I think he gets the credit from taking it from being like good to great. That's what great coaches do. They'll take good and they'll make it great. And I think that's what Vic's done. So they both. That's why I said it's a hard question, Josh. They both have their fingerprints all over the success of this football team. Because we don't have Zach Bond without Vic Fangio.
Right.
Like he's the one who said, I think this guy could be a really good linebacker. So
I have a role
And
for him.
he didn't have
we
the
don't
track
have-
record either. He didn't have the track record. He was basically a special teamer.
Yeah, he
Yep.
just saw some film of him, like his quickness, right? His ability to bend, like they talked about.
Ooh,
So
bend.
he saw that, liked something, brought him in, and now the guy is arguably, he's not going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but he's a top 10 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, for sure.
All pro.
He's he's easily one of the top 4 or 5 signings in the offseason.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We might have two. And that's not counting Quinn yet.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
We didn't have
People
him
give him
last
this
year with
flower.
James Bradbury.
Yeah, I mean, I
How did
think
he get
people
hurt
give
this
him
week,
this.
by the way? He's out
I
16
think
weeks.
people give.
Yeah, he's
I
still
think
out.
people give Coop his credit just as like a joke. DeJean. I mean, I truly believe there's two guys on this team that when they play, they've never lost, and it's him and AJ Brown. And I think what he allowed them to do was pretty much just let Vic Fangio be Vic Fangio. And I think the best example of the difference was if you look at the Tampa game versus the Cleveland game and pretty much what we've seen from this point out, which is he wants to be aggressive, but he wants to be aggressive without sending an extra edge rusher. Everyone knows that when going up against Vic Fangio. Maddox, McCollum, whoever, or Sidney Brown, whoever it was that they slotted in there for those first few weeks. I don't believe Sidney Brown was healthy, but whoever it was that they, Maddox and whoever they put in there, we were getting gashed in the middle of the field by Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, all those Drake London.
Yep.
And Cooper DeJean has allowed him to become so much more aggressive in the middle of the field. Outside of Adam Thielen, none of these guys have eaten us up. Cooper Kupp, Zay Flowers, all these guys like to operate in the slot and get kind of, creative in the middle of the field. Has not been the case. They've allowed more than 20 points one time in the 10-game win streak. Insane.
Preach it real hard. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing right now. It's true. It's true. Because we watched it this year. Like that one move changed our tackling. It changed the middle of the field, our coverage in the middle of the field. Because Avonte Max is a turnstile. And I'm not saying it's easy to play a slot in the NFL, but he went from being a really good slot guy to just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yes.
And that was a really black hole for this football team. And it show you it's a freaking another home run pick.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He didn't have to do that either. Let's be honest. Because us fans, we look at it as to say, yeah, the secondary isn't great. And if we walked away with that draft with only one defensive back in the first round, I'm pretty sure we're saying to ourselves that at least they're trying to address a need. The fact that he went out to get both, which is something he rarely ever does, especially in the higher rounds, I mean, he knew what he was doing. He was all over that.
I mean, defensively, just the open field tackling alone has been so much better. It's been definitely a pleasant surprise. I knew this defense would be good, but I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think it would be this good this soon. And it's hands down the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, we talked about the tackling on Wednesday night show, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, since the bye week, they haven't missed many tackles. I mean, I know I for one was very critical of CJ early, and I thought he was just like a dog on a hardwood floor, just flying all over the field, but not being productive at all. And he has been that dog that we had the first time around since the bye. Right? He's been that headhunter. And then he's also been that leader in the back half, making sure that we're all set to go and then helping out where needed. But no, absolutely. I think the tackling, to your point, has been so much improved. And it's strange to even say that in today's NFL where we don't practice tackling anymore. Everyone, even though they're illegal, everybody wants to just hit, take big hits or give big hits. They don't want to rapid tackle. Our boys tackle.
Oh, yeah. They make sure they get the ball carrier to the ground and they put them on their ass. I mean, look at how many stops, not just on third down, but even on third and short. It could be 3rd and 2, third and 3, and we're still getting off the field.
Yeah, that's what I said. Nobody in football, like, there's no splashness here. There's no there's no prime time,
right.
Where it's like you get the pick sixes and you get the strip sacks, and it's like, oh, this team averages 2 strip sacks a game or something crazy. That's like the separator bar, right, to the outside world, that people who don't watch them week in, week out. And then the guys like us that are week in, week out with them, you're like, I've never seen a defense get off the field more. I've never seen a defense that your offense, they will pick you up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right. They did it in the Green Bay game, and they sure as hell did it this past week with 2 fumbles in your own zone and at least 3 points. That game's over right then and there. Yeah. They won the game in the first quarter. That's what they did.
Even at times.
That plays.
No, go ahead.
That plays every week, and that sure as hell plays on the last Sunday of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I mean, look at even at times when the offense has sputtered during our 10-game win streak, where our defense would continue to get stop after stop after stop until offensively we could get our shit together and then eventually steamroll and put a team away and, pull out a victory. And this has been a true team. And another footnote that really made me feel good, seeing Jake Elliott come out there and put a 48-yarder through the uprights. So, I hear you. I would love to see a 54-yarder this week. That'd be nice, but that would make me feel even better. But I think he's starting to find it again, and that's going to be real critical heading down the stretch, and especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was just a good sign. We're talking about extra points, but he connected on all his extra points, and drilled the 48-yarder.
They go a 48 and a 41-yarder, right?
Yeah, that shit's important in February.
Sure.
So, I need to be good enough, come playoff time and be confident enough, because, a kicker in this league's real simple. It's just about being confident.
Yeah.
Easier said than done from sitting right here, but it's really about just keeping it simple, and what are they all going to think? Not trying to do too much.
Can I be the first one to talk about our quarterback today? It's kind of, what are we, an hour in? We haven't talked about him yet. It's pretty shocking.
I'll tell you what, he looked good. He looked good,
right,
man.
I think people in the city I'm not saying you have to give him a ton of credit, but what I do think is that you at least have to acknowledge it, because I am, and I'm not taking it for granted. It's, playing professional sports here is different than in other cities. And being the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles is different. And especially in a world where I saw guys like Ben Simmons kind of crumble over situations, which is like, why aren't you shooting the ball? You can't shoot the ball. And it seems like the sky's falling, right? And those are after losses. And Jalen gets up there after a win, and he's getting all the hate in the world, 9-game winning streak, all that and the other thing. And he sits up there before the next game he even plays and says, I thrive in situations like this. We go to Sunday, he throws for 290 and 2 tuds. And then instead of the talk being about, well, the passing game isn't there, and we're piling on him again after another week, we get to sit up here and have conversations about the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, can we appreciate a guy being in here who is willing enough and mature enough to accept all of this and understand it and acknowledge it and say, I understand the noise that comes with being the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. I thrive in these situations. And to me, I'll take that guy. You could talk about the talent you want. And, that's kind of a debatable conversation of where he compares to other quarterbacks. In terms of a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, I'll take that guy over, honestly, probably a guy a little bit more talented than him, because that's going to last a whole lot longer than some talent, because we've seen that here and it hasn't worked out.
No, you're spot on. You're spot on.
The guy wins, Luke. The guy wins.
Yeah. On draft night, it was pretty simple on what Jalen Hurts was and is. And it was echoed by a lot of guys, here, is he's a winner. and he's a worker, and he's a leader. And those three skill sets can make you better than you are. Right? Like, it can take you up levels. It just can. And if you thrive off of, right, you thrive off of the noise and the talk and what you can't do. Ooh. You know, ooh, and then you go prove it, and the first thing you say in your presser, you know, is a jab. Which how do you not like that? How do you not love that?
How do you
Why do you not love the mocks? Like, you're right about the Ben Simmons of the world and the different guys who have come through here, Carson Wentz and guys who couldn't, like, the mental side crumbled them. Not their physical tools, the mental part of not just the city, just everything, right? Pro sports crumbled those guys in ways. And then you got a guy like here who, you know, doesn't have, you know, maybe the arm strength of some guys or different things like that. But he just fucking wins.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I was definitely scratching my head on draft night back in 2020.
First of all, Marshall,
You know what I
anybody
mean?
that's sorry,
Because
hold on. Anybody who's not taking Lamar over Jalen is an idiot. So, I mean, with all due respect to Jalen here, Lamar's a great leader too.
But I don't know if Lamar thrives in something like this. He would hear the can't throw allegations 20 times more than he already does. 20 times more. 20 times
It's football
more.
and crab cakes. That's what Maryland does.
We
brought they ain't getting hot on him.
We brought it up after a win on a 9-game winning streak. You don't think he would hear about it after all these playoff losses the same way? He didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Jalen's in the Super Bowl, outperformed the best player on the planet, and we are still talking about it.
Okay, yeah,
Lamar would have that brought up every single day.
That's
win
fine.
or loss.
I'll take Lamar. I'll take Lamar.
No, going back to my point, the talent hasn't always
Lamar
lasted.
Saquon, that's cute. That's hot in the street. I mean, that's 50 a game. I mean, are we out of our minds? Certain guys can.
Lamar's a better player than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
no one's debating that.
Let's not say Lamar isn't tough either, though. He's got his heat down there too. It's football and crab cakes, like we talked about. And Lamar not winning big games, right? And Lamar getting knocked down in the first round.
I think one of the big keys too is being a self-motivator and a motivator of everybody around you, right? And it's interesting, right? Because, you know, we're winning all these games, and every week there's something else, whether it's Sirianni, we're not throwing the ball, whatever it is. And they're just winning. But I look at a season like last year where, you know, they came off of a huge Super Bowl run, and they were like the darlings of the league. And it just felt like, I don't know if they lost a little bit of that edge. And we talked about losing guys like a CJ Gardner-Johnson too, obviously. Just felt like they didn't have that edge last year. And now you come back in this year. And listen, I got siblings. I know you guys, a lot of you guys do too. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes we fight behind closed doors. Sometimes we fight outside and publicly. And I don't give a shit about any of that. But at the end of the day, when you guys are getting out there and everybody's picking up everybody up and the coaches got your back and the quarterback's there and the quarterback's taking the brunt of the load in front of everybody, guess what? I love it. I'm loving the drama. I'm loving the motivation. I'm loving the edge. And you're absolutely spot on, Luke. Jalen Hurts is the prototypical role model of what a quarterback in Philadelphia needs to be to have a chance to succeed. Because Carson Wentz had all the talent in the world. All the talent in the world. But dude had a mentality soft as baby shit. And we've seen other quarterbacks come in here and have the exact same thing. You know, Donovan had a lot of success, but I think Donovan's biggest knock, he never got over draft night. Never got over draft night. To this day, people say he's still not over the fact that he got booed coming to Philadelphia. So I look at a guy like Jalen, though. He got a hell of a lot worse than what Donovan got. And then when he came into the game and he replaced Carson Wentz, who was an MVP candidate the year you go for a Super Bowl, and he had everything going against him. He can't throw. He didn't have the talent. He got taken out of the national championship game, this and that. Yeah, he's a nice kid. He's a good leader, hard work ethic, but he doesn't have the attributes, the quarterback acumen to make it in the NFL. And look what he's done. And he's come into the toughest city, or one of the toughest cities, hands down in professional sports, and been an absolute stud and role model in terms of what the quarterback should be in Philadelphia. You work the rest of the stuff out. You're right. It's as far as talent and some shortcomings here and there, being quicker to reads and this and that. I can live with that. You could we've seen it. You could put the right people around him to help out with that stuff. But he has more than enough talent to win. But can he handle it? When it's going well, when it's not going well. When there's dissension, can he handle it? And the kid has proven that he can.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Go back to 2020 when I heard when they called his name on draft night. I mean, I was absolutely scratching my head thinking, WTF, what is Howie doing? And I guess that was because we already had Carson in place at the time. Yes, he was coming off that concussion from 2019 in that playoff game against Seattle. All right. But I thought our football team was so bad at that time, and we had so many other needs that needed to be addressed at that time. And I thought, why are we reaching for a guy like Jalen? And, well, lo and behold, obviously, going on almost 5 years later now. Now I'm finding out why. Obviously, I underestimated the guy.
Well, not you. It was an organization that felt like they missed out on a guy like Russell Wilson. It was an organization that looked at those types of qualities from their quarterback. It matters to them. There's other factors. And I don't necessarily believe he was taken with the thought that he at some point was going to start that quickly. If he did. I really think that he was taken as the ultimate, like, what he became. The ultimate backup plan if the other guy never could figure it out. And it just so happened the other guy couldn't figure it out quick. And he got the keys faster than they probably expected him to. And once he got those keys, he didn't give them back up. And listen, again, we know this dude's work ethic. We know it. And you always say, like, hard work beats talent. Right? What you do when nobody's watching you is what defines you. And there's things you can never question about Jalen Hurts. And I think his work ethic continues to show. So,
I mean, for him to just going back to college when you guys alluded to him being taken out of that national championship game, getting off the mat again, transferring to Oklahoma, having success there. You know what I mean?
And that's what got him drafted. If he doesn't go to that type of pro style offense and throw the football and show he can, right? He's not even getting picked.
Yep.
But again, his evolution of continuing to get better. Right. That's what you pretty much watch from him, because he was not the same guy throwing the football at Alabama as he was at Oklahoma.
Right.
He just wasn't. So he did a lot of work to his game, man. He did.
He sure has.
Which is what you want. That's what you guys said.
Yeah.
It's what defines. This is what defines a quarterback in this city is having that mental toughness and being able to get off the mat after a week that didn't go well, where you didn't see the field well, where you missed a lot of easy completions, right? And to be able to go respond to that is everything we asked for.
Oh, and that's why you look at it 4 or 5 years later, and
you appreciate
Jalen being mentally tough and mentally strong, and that's why he's a pretty damn good starter in the NFL. And I guess, as Mike was saying, if you're soft as baby shit, that's why in Carson, that's why he's probably never going to see a meaningful snap in the NFL again.
Yeah, it's not. You could call it softness. I wouldn't even go there. I mean, I just think that
I don't think he ever got over seeing Foles lead the team to a Super Bowl.
I think there's more that goes into drafting a quarterback than just their physical abilities.
Right.
You're talking about the leader of your team. You're talking about the most likely going to be the highest paid player on your team. I think there's a lot more responsibilities that go on what kind of relationship do you have with your teammates? What kind of relationship do you have with people in the building? I mean, all those things matter when you're talking about drafting a quarterback. And I think we look at how big his goddamn hands are or what he does in shorts and a t-shirt, and they all can. Like they're all going to look good in those types of environments. But the mental, the toughness, the ability to process, and the ability to be able to make plays by yourself, right? Some things that you can't account for, that just aren't factored in enough to. Well, at least the leadership side is always factored in, but relationships, what kind of guy are you? What kind of worker are you? I don't know. That's my opinion. I think it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I mean, it's.
Guys get drafted, they don't have those skill sets, and they don't necessarily they put up numbers and they have good careers, but they never get to greatness because they don't have that extra.
Yeah. I mean, Wentz certainly showed flashes of it for a year or two. Obviously, that special 2017 season until he got hurt, and then. I thought he rebounded a bit in 18 and 19, and then in 2020 just fell off the cliff and never recovered.
Yeah, but I also think if Carson Wentz was here and all things were equal and he was throwing to these two guys,
right?
And Saquon Barkley, he probably has a good career. So it's all his was he just had.
How does Wentz respond from last week to this week?
I don't know, but also. Wentz had to take a bullet.
Yeah, but how often does that happen here?
Wentz took a bullet for a curse, Luke. Ain't no quarterback in the history of the NFL getting hurt during an MVP season and watching another guy go win a Super Bowl in a city like this and responding even as good as he did.
Yeah. He was dealt a real tough hand, but
tough hand.
He was not built to come back from that.
I disagree to that to a point because I think he had a good 2018 season.
He had the year where we made the playoffs with Greg Ward or whatever. That was some of the best quarterback play we've had. He was amazing, but it was a lot stacked against him, and I'm not really coming at him. But
no, I'm not. I don't really care enough either way.
I don't know if he did himself any favors either.
Yeah, no, that's basically what I was saying too.
Well, the organization
helped himself out.
The organization told you that because they stopped putting pieces around them.
Yeah,
it's almost like organization. They're like, oh, can this guy just fail so we can get out of it?
Well, it's if you heard what Darren Sproles said, did you hear what Darren Sproles said about the Super Bowl year up to the next year?
Yeah,
he said he didn't want to run that offense. He had no interest. He wanted to do something different. Whatever. They totally switched it up.
I think when you hear those things, 50% of it's true and 50 is not.
I don't know. I think there's a time once upon a time on ATD radio that we crushed a reporter who put out a story about Carson Wentz, and I think a lot of people have backed up a lot of the reports of that who were in the know since that time. And I'm not a Carson Wentz destroyer.
My
here. At the end of the day, we got his best season
in a row, and we're talking about Carson right now. It's amazing.
I know.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Not you, Chrome. Finish what you're saying. Just, I can't believe we're here.
Well, I mean, we started going, but speaking of, it is hilarious though. The poor guy can't even touch the field now. He's behind a quarterback that's got one ankle,
diva, right? What a diva.
And he still can't touch the field.
Yep, refuses to not play.
Which is stupid in my opinion.
Got to show off for Taylor.
I'm not going to sit here and disrespect Mahomes. So
I'm just busting stuff.
Yeah, no. If you want to live your life like that, I tell you all the time, please go ahead. But I'm too old to not respect and admire what's in front of my face. I just am. guy sensational.
Yeah, I'm just truly busting stats.
No, yeah, but what a great place to go. If there's a place for a guy to end up,
I was excited for Carson, though.
It's backing up. It's going under Andy and backing up Patrick Mahomes.
I think Andy or McVay would have been a good spot for him.
Yeah, he was in LA last year.
He was there
for a little bit.
Right,
yeah.
but I'm saying if he could have stayed there or going under Andy, I mean, look what I think McVay helped out Baker Mayfield a lot.
1,000%.
No question. The confidence of that last game, per se, did a lot for Baker, too, right? Because it's just like pitching and throwing strikes or hitting and having a ton of confidence. It's like, or shooting threes and having the confidence to make it and pull the trigger. It's like, being a quarterback's the same way. Like, you got to trust what you see and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And the second you start not trusting what you see or second guessing yourself, well, then you're Jameis.
Yeah, but we also saw that with Jalen 2 weeks ago against Carolina, right?
Yeah, he was scared to pull the trigger.
He was scared to pull the trigger, and it showed. And you're right, Tommy. I mean, Jameis does that every weekend, and it's either exciting as hell or there's Jameis.
yeah, but this happens all around the league outside of Barrow will even have weeks, right? But the elite pocket guys, you're usually not. You can see it once or twice a season because they're just going to be that good from the pocket. Well, you see it all around the league, though, where guys don't see the field 1 week like they did the week prior. I mean, that's just sports. But we have a quarterback that's fucking tough. We got a team that's tough, and he just fucking wins games. He said every time you need a drive, he'll give you a drive, just like Mahomes does. It might not look pretty with Pat this year or last year, but when you need a drive, Mahomes has got you on a drive. And the same thing for Jalen Hurts. When you need a drive, Jalen Hurts has got you on that drive. And we watched the greatest drive of all time on Sunday.
That was incredible.
We watched it. We watched a whole quarter drive.
The best part is we didn't know what was going on in the moment.
I
think Sweet texted our group chat at the punt and goes, "You think you're going to get the ball back twice into 10 minutes?"
Yeah.
Oh, but you didn't get it twice. You didn't get it once.
You didn't get it back.
I was at the game.
Same,
It was very, very interesting. Kind of the same thing. Like I was there and I was watching it, but you kind of like lull after a few minutes. Then you realize it's like halfway, 3/4 through the fourth quarter. You're like, they still have the football.
Yeah, I was like, why aren't they calling a timeout? What the hell are they doing? And then it got to the point where I'm like, all right, this game's over. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It's so weird because I was with the baby till the start of the fourth quarter. And right when the Eagles, when they punted the ball, Len and Cass got home. And it was like, it was just a lot of moving parts. So like I was locked in, but I was moving around and I'm like it took a minute for it to set in. Like, we never gave the ball back. Like, we've been doing this the whole time. This is like the greatest drive in the history of the NFL. Like
I don't think I've ever actually watched that happen before.
I don't know if I have.
Played.
Like, that's like NFL Films needs to come out and immediately do like a documentary on the drive, like the new drive.
Drive.
Like, if they did that in a playoff game, that would go down in like history. It's like one of the greatest drives of all time.
I mean, they could really do that every game if they wanted to, but it really just came down to them actually playing well in the first quarter. They didn't have to play much of the game, attack much of the game at all. And then once Najee fumbled the ball, that was it. The game was over.
You don't have to convince me that to get on board for more of that leading into January and February.
If they end up figuring that out, it will be terrifying. I'm not sure how you win.
I would love for them to not have to go 100% for 60 minutes.
Right. I think talking about this week, though, I think this is the 1 week where you go on the road for the last time and this team is coming off the loss for you where we could maybe see like, all right, you're down 10-0. What are you going to do? We haven't seen that yet this year. So I think that's the game where you could see it. But again, it's like as long as you don't turn the ball over, your defense, even as slow as you might start offensively, is not really going to let you drive the whole length of the field early on in the game anyway. So as long as you don't turn the ball over in a slow start, it really doesn't matter anyway. They just can't turn it over.
No, they can't. And, you hope that they can. That was the one thing last week where you're like, hey, don't love that.
Yeah.
Right? Don't love the 2 turnovers. I thought Jalen's fumble was weird, too. It was like he just almost like dropped it. Like he didn't get hit that hard, per se, of like hard NFL hits, right? He was just sort of popped out and, Cooper I feel like Cooper got lit up a little bit on his.
Yeah.
So, you just, but again, this is where you need great defense. This is where great defenses steal you games because that's what they did, because in reality, they might not win that game if Najee doesn't fumble that ball. If Najee doesn't fumble that ball.
They're going in for at least 3, right?
Yeah. This is a different game. It's a different game. But this is just overall fun. I mean, and you're right, guys. Like we gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy having a quarterback that's tough like this. You gotta enjoy having the skill position players like we do. A coach that just wins. This reminds me a lot of Andy and Donovan. The scrutiny, that's all around it. And I think it's one of those situations when you look back on it, when it's a decade gone, and you're like, shit, I'll take that back in a heartbeat. I'll take those days back in a heartbeat. I think that's sort of where we're at right now. Like, it's not like win a Super Bowl or bust for me either. It's get to a Super Bowl or bust. Right? Like, once you get there, I can't demand the win to be successful.
Yeah.
Like I'll look back on it a decade later and I'll be like, that was a successful year when we went to the Super Bowl that year. Right. So I don't want to change that, what I'll think about it 5 years from now to what I'm in the moment of watching. Like everybody wants to win the Super Bowl. But if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm happy. Like, I mean, I'm not like ecstatic, but I'm like, I'm one of the last 2 teams playing 4 straight years. I'm in. Sign me up. You know what I mean? I'll deal with the heartbreak, but I'm in. I'm in. Maybe one time I doink one off the upright and it goes in. You know what I mean? Maybe one time I get lucky. So that's how I look at it. Put me in 4 straight years. I feel like I can get lucky once, and once satisfies everything we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, we would all go back to Andy days, and we didn't win shit besides NFC title game. At one point, we couldn't even win that. Like, we weren't even winning an NFC title game.
It took us a minute to win that. You're absolutely right, Tommy.
So, and we said we'll go back to 11, 12 wins every year.
And a shot, right? That's all we wanted
and
back
shot.
then. Just give us a shot. Get us in the playoffs, and whatever happens, happens. That was our mindset.
This could go down as it, Derek. If they win it all, because it won't go down as the greatest football team in Philly of all time, and unless they cut the Nets down.
Yeah.
The only way it happens is then it's not even up for debate. Like, if they win a Super Bowl, it's the easiest poll question of all time. Yes, agree. They are. Like, who's better? 2017? No. Count-wise, they're not. They're not.
Oh, my God. Remember the secondary that they won that year? Ronald Darby and Jalen Mill. I mean, it was a miracle that they won that.
Exactly. It's how a curse ends. That's how they it's a break of the curse. I told you Carson Wentz took a bullet.
Pick 6 against Minnesota.
But Carson Wentz took a bullet to end a curse in a way. Because nobody wins the Super Bowl with a backup. Yeah. Nobody. Mm-hmm. So, like, the way we won it never happens. But that's down 3-0 to the Yankees type shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that was, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're looked at as like a cursed franchise that we would, the football gods will give it to us when we're not looking. You know what I mean? Like, you came out of nowhere, like, what the fuck? Torn ACL and MCL? And then you're like, well, here you go. Calm down. Everybody settle in. Here's your Lombardi. You're gonna go beat the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
In a shootout.
Yeah. Right, in a shootout when
punt.
Tom threw for what, 600 yards?
Yeah, nobody punted. They didn't punt at all.
Tommy didn't punt.
You're gonna be on broad. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Nick Foles, he threw for 373 that day.
Crum remembers a Monday night on Birds of the Feather. It was a robe on.
Green Bay.
there was a lot of sadness.
Yeah.
And
the
prayer
sadness,
circle.
Yeah. But we said if there was a time for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, it would be with Nick Foles, because he was good enough, and we knew he was a good enough thrower of the football that we could still be as good. And
that was tough. That was
tough sell.
It definitely felt like the sky was falling for sure.
But we rallied ourselves, and the biggest conversation was how do curses end. And we said that it was out the Sixers 1,000 times, but they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That conversation doesn't
They're
count.
cursed.
Yeah, they're just cursed.
So what? We need like Yabusele to become Giannis, and we'll go on a championship run, and that one too.
The French freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah, but this would go down as the greatest football team of all time in Philly, for sure. You want to do players of the game? Talk some Sixers.
Yeah, I got 2 questions for you guys before we transition. Saquon needs 140 yards for the next 3 games to break it. Does he get it?
Yes.
He needs to
I think he's got a chance.
Yeah,
Average.
average 140.
Well, I sound like you said, like, just
Not
quickly.
not just 140.
Yeah, it sounded like, hey, we're 140 away. Like, get the graphics ready.
It's
everybody,
close.
get
It's
the graphics. It's coming.
He's got a shot. They're two of the 3 left are 2 of the worst rushing defenses in the league.
Yeah.
So he's got a shot to put up a couple of big games here on the ground.
He's got to have a 200-yard game in this.
If he hits a 200-yard game, I think it's done. I think he locks it in.
190, you know what I mean?
Yeah, in the vicinity.
He's got to have that 2 monster runs. He's got to have like that 60-yarder, and he has to have that another like 70-yarder in a game.
Well, will he even play in the last week of the season?
That's the thing. I think he has to do it in 2 games, because I don't think he's playing January 5th against the Giants.
I think if he's got a shot at the record, they'll play him.
Yes.
Oof.
And I also believe that they're going to be playing for something that Sunday too.
Yeah.
It's more likely than not that they will, yeah.
I think they'll minimum play the first half, right? Regardless of what's happened.
If he's 50 yards away and you ain't raising your hand to suit his ass up,
100%.
Us as fans, we're assholes. Like, suit him up. Like, let him go. It's impossible to break. Even
against them too.
Yeah, that's a perfect bend over.
He's not sitting against them either.
If we think this isn't calculated, if we think the NFL doesn't know better, that we happen to play the Giants on the last game of the year, and Saquon Barkley's going for the all-time rushing record against a team that let him go inside the division. Inside the division, on
in
top
epic
of that,
fashion, televised.
Yes, for everybody's faces, and there's gonna be a whole ceremony. Like, they got to sit through that. In the Meadowlands, they got to do it. The Emmitt Smith after he they got the most rushing yards of all time. They got to go through the whole dog and fucking pony show. I can't wait. I can't wait.
That would be epic
for everyone in that building to sit through that.
That's at home. That'll be home.
Yeah, it's at the link.
Oh,
I wish it was there. I wish it was there.
Hey, Jay, you're gonna get a story like John Martin took us.
Johnny Airports.
Yeah, no, that's not where I was going with Johnny Airports. But you're talking about you might get a call that the GM's no longer with us.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's hard to swallow.
We might need a wellness check on.
Yeah, like you might need some wellness checks in New York, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? I'm not making that a joking matter, but like dead serious. Like, check on your friends in New York.
Yeah,
especially execs. Goodness gracious.
Hey.
Especially people who dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Woo. For sure.
Hey,
and my other one is if Calais Campbell gets released.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Not even a question.
I'm not doing it.
If Calais Campbell gets released, do you bring him in?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the wrong. I thought you were talking about the Campbell that didn't want to play in the game. No. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, there's rumors that the Dolphins, once they're eliminated this week, are going to release him.
Like, what the hell is wrong with Tom and Chrome here? Like, you know
I'm
what I
like,
mean?
what are you talking? I'm not bringing that loser.
We're like,
say no more.
No
more.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Calais.
Do you think they'll cut him though? I don't know.
They said today.
Oh, okay.
As soon as they're mathematically eliminated, which is this week, they're going to cut him so that he can latch on somewhere and hope to win a Super Bowl.
Totally.
Oh, I would already took a flight out. I would have made sure there's a representative with some NIL money. You know
Where's Johnny Airport's at?
You know, get a rep around because, you know, I think that's similar to like Ndamukong Suh at that signing and Val Joseph, just a veteran and a guy who can just give you some snaps.
Honestly, too, I almost feel like because a logical landing spot would be the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I almost feel like
they're just not going to win it.
I feel like going after him, even for the pure sake of keeping him off of that team, would help out here too. Add the depth.
Good point.
I'm curious how many snaps he'll play even here. I think that is probably out of all the depth that we have on our team, I think we have the most playable guys at that position group out of anywhere. Like those three guys, and even like a Jomo when he gets in the game, like those are more than playable guys. They've been productive all year.
Well, I've seen him.
Milton Williams has been amazing.
No, he's been awesome, Luke. I've seen him play a little bit of like the end in like a 3-4 times two in his career. So he is versatile enough. But to the point though, like I think we're looking for reasons why Calais Campbell would fit here with depth purposes, right? And you look at like the only like little Achilles heel is a rush average, right? 9th in football, which is still awesome. Right. But now if he's playing the edge for you there, how much stronger are you against the run?
Yeah.
So I mean that could be a reason on why you could like see organizationally why they would be like, okay, he's played enough outside and
the BG loss has something to do with that too.
I'm saying he's still in that BG spot,
yeah.
And Vic,
but on the other side, he's played more like facing us, like if you're facing us like left, but he's played more right end, than left end.
Yeah.
Per se, if he's ever been on the outside, from times I've watched him, I feel like he's been more of like he's played nose tackle, but he's also played the edge, is my point. He can do a little bit of everything. He can play the 4-3, obviously, as a D tackle lined up over the guard, and he can play the nose because he's big enough, and he's always been athletic enough to be versatile to go out there. I'm making this way too long.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when you go out there to his agent, when you go out there to his agent, kind of present him those options, like, is he going to say yes? Philly has a chance to win it, probably higher than Detroit, but I'm going to be probably the main guy, the main dog on that defensive line at Detroit. So is him playing more?
I don't even care if he plays snaps. I like kind of almost to Chrome's point. I just want that veteran guy in here.
Right. I'm just saying from his perspective.
I got him on 15, 20 snaps a game.
Done.
Right, but if he has both on the table, is he taking the 15 or 20 just to say, I'm going to be the best defensive player on the
Well, he played with Vic last year, so I think that has a lot to do with it, too.
I would say he would want to play as an older guy.
Right,
you prefer to 15 to 20 and be more impactful. The dome, obviously.
Yeah.
But he'd be more impactful playing 15, 20 snaps. But it's like, well, hey, Calais, who has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like you think you're going to be Aiden Hutchinson impactful?
Yeah, I think next year is playing time. I think this year it becomes about where can I get a ring.
And he's like, how old is he too?
38 or 36.
This could be it for him.
Saying.
Something stupid.
Like
so yeah, he doesn't.
I
don't think there is.
38.
And that I think is the point of why they're talking about letting him go. Is there is no next year.
Yeah.
Right. He's 38 at least.
Yeah. He's old man winner.
Boys, I gotta go. My dogs are freaking out down here.
No, go ahead. We're
gonna be hopping off in a couple minutes anyway. But go Birds! Big win this week, boys.
Go Birds!
Yep. Absolutely.
And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to the fam out there.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we obviously
Merry Christmas.
We obviously Merry Christmas, brother. And we obviously you too. And we obviously won't be on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is Christmas, right? So
yeah.
we will not be joining him. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You might see us. You might see us for a late night or
Some degens.
when the kids go to bed.
Degens. We got some degenerates over here.
You never know what you're going to get from us. I mean, if we lose against Washington, we might be obligated.
Yeah.
Well, I have news for you. You know who's playing at 5:30 on next Wednesday?
Yeah, bum Sixers.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I love how I also predicted
great
the injury
segue.
too. I predicted the
he predicted
injury.
the sinus.
Yeah. I said it last week, and I said, "Can he just play on the Christmas Day game, please?" And yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus.
They reevaluated this week.
Yeah.
Again. Oh, great segue.
Yeah, money segue.
Listen, I'll say it 1,000 times. First off, I'll start with this. Jared McCain, I'm glad you had a successful surgery. Can we not? I'm just asking for some things. Do we have to do? There's a time and place where I don't need to go. I don't need to go live, right? This is time and place. You look like you're in Kensington. You know what I mean? You look so shot out. It's not the time. I need representation around guys at all times. Like time and place, dude. You look so, like you hit the morphine button 75 times.
Yeah.
Stop hitting the button. Somebody shut the button off for Jared McCain. Now we're gonna have a guy that's got an addiction issue when it's done here. And listen, I can make my jokes there. All right. That being said, it's like, do we have to? And I didn't hear what he said.
No one did.
No one did.
No one did. He was incoherent.
He's gonna paint his whole body tonight. And he's gonna come out looking like the Sixers mascot when this is all said and done. This is unbelievable.
Hip hopper.
Yeah, the blue guy. It was the blue guy. Wasn't it hip hop?
Franklin.
He's gonna come out dressed looking like Franklin tonight. He come out maybe dressed up like Dennis Rodman and be in a dress.
James.
We'll be in a dress by next Wednesday. I mean, it's unbelievable. I have no idea where I'm going with this, but that triggered me because I'm like, can you give it a couple hours? Like you're right at it. I mean, they just put the 3D meniscus in. Like KZ told us about the 3D stuff. Now KZ's here. KZ's here. He just knows. He knows we're going Sixers, and he stops.
And he appears.
Yeah, out of nowhere. It's like a bat signal. The Sixers signal goes off in KZ's house. The boys on A2D Wednesday nights. Here they go. Jared McCain's
Merry Christmas,
cracked
KZ.
out. Merry Christmas, KZ.
Yeah.
Cracked out rookie now. This is amazing. It can't get any worse. We go from a sinus infection, broken face again. That's never happened in the history of
never
injuries.
happens in history. Yeah.
Nobody's ever had it happen. You tell me a football guy had that? I got it happen in basketball. This guy is shot. He's shot. It's done. It's over. And the only hope we have is Paul George is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I watch enough of him. Greg, turn the TV on. That's what I tell Greg to do. He's that good, Greg. He's that good, in my opinion, of getting whatever fucking shot he wants. Turn the TV on. And he might be one of the most unselfish stars that I've seen because he loves passing the basketball, too, if you watch him. He loves a good dish. He's like Luke said, I've really paid attention to who's bringing the ball up, too, Luke. Did you mention that? And you see, he just gets in better
sets. It is night and day.
We just get a basket every time he brings it up. It's like, just make him bring it up for all 48 here. I mean, there's no reason to let anybody else bring the fucking basketball.
And
I heard Tyrese was getting
basketball too.
What's that, Luke? I'm sorry.
I was saying, before he was hurt, they had Caleb Martin as the secondary ball handler bringing up the bat. I mean, it was a joke. What was going on?
Yeah.
He didn't throw no fucking subliminals at me, KZ. All right. I'm tired of being in the line of fire. Right. I love my quarterback. I've not wavered on his toughness, on his leadership, on his work ethic. You can't hold on to the ball in this league and be successful. You cannot. So how much faster did he release the ball on Sunday? I'll fucking sit here and wait. But it's okay when Tom Brady tells you it. It's okay when Tom Brady says it. It's okay. And nobody crushes Tom because it's the greatest quarterback. Well done. I've been saying the same thing for weeks. You cannot own the ball for 3.5 seconds and be successful in this league. That means you're home run shooting. That means you're waiting for the big play. You're waiting for guys to come open. You have to throw guys open in this league. And he did on Sunday. And I'm proud to watch it. I'm proud he's my fucking quarterback. Luke already gave us the rah-rah. It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
What he brought to the table. I'm all in on Jalen Hurts. I've never been out on him. Besides, like after the first 4 weeks, I was out on him and Sirianni. They both could have went.
But Luke's track record this week, Jalen might be gone after this year.
10-game win streak might bring you right back in, Tommy.
Yeah, it'll be a Kenny Pickett time next week.
We transfer portal it out.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who had 12, 13 wins this year, and I'm having to be pulled back in. Imagine that. I'm in the line of fire. I said it would be unacceptable if they were not a 12-win football team. Did I not? And that
It was 10.5, right?
Yeah, that looks unacceptable. 12 looks unacceptable. If they finished with 12.
Yeah.
You tanked. You know what I mean? You fell apart. So
Like
13 was the number. 13 was the hard number that I thought they were going to get to, which I would assume would have got them a number 1 seed. It's not going to.
Yeah, how crazy is that, right?
Yeah, it's insane. You're going to have to go. Shit, somebody's going to have to
go 15-2.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to go 15-2. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's elite football.
It's bad football, honestly.
Yeah.
As much as it's good, it's pretty fucking bad too. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah,
the NFC is pretty damn good. I mean, I get it. You got some bottom feeders there, but
the overall NFL product, like there's more bad teams than good teams.
Yes.
Oh, it's not even, dude. Some of the guys who play quarterback this week. I mean, the 1 o'clock games this week.
Oh, dreadful.
It was
guy for the Saints is like a male porn star. You know what I mean? The guy for the Saints, like he has no right playing football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you see that guy, I mean that is okay. I'm gonna leave some things off.
And let me tell you, there's not a ton of talent coming in either. There's not a ton of talent coming in right now either.
No, I like Shador a lot. Like if I was looking for a quarterback, Shador Sanders is a home run to me. I'm a pedigree cat. There ain't no shot he's not good.
He's the best one.
But I'm saying, like, I would give up. Like, if I was close enough, that's where I give a haul.
Yeah.
If there's a haul guy, he's a haul guy to me. I'm not hauling for Cam Ward, but I will go up for a guy who changed a college program. Literally put him on the map.
Yeah.
And essentially help one guy win a Heisman because I think Shador is that good. But I think when you have the father figure that has been successful in 2 sports, professional level, I think you have a foot in, a foot in the door on sort of just what it takes if you're willing to listen to it. And I think there's no way Deion coached him if he wasn't willing to listen to him. I mean, Deion got lucky. He had 2 sons that listened to him. Most kids don't listen to their dads. So he obviously put the YouTube tapes on early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Said, I think you should fucking listen if you want to play this sport. Yeah. I don't want the Giants to get Shador. I need Vegas to get the number 1 pick. This is all my point of that was. Vegas has to have the number 1 pick. I cannot have Shador go to New York. I can't. Yeah. He'll change them. He'll make them better. I can't have it. They got to be a dumpster fire. They need Cam Ward. He'll fucking stink.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that impressed the few times I watched Cam Ward play this year. He looked okay. He just seemed like another guy. I mean, I think he'll be an okay journeyman type quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think he'll be elite by any means.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high level guys in this year's draft class at all.
No.
This is where guys miss. Hey, New York.
It's a 2 or what we thought was a 3 QB draft, but the third guy went back.
I don't draft New York. If I don't have the number 1 pick, if I'm the Giants,
that's what I've been saying. But there's no way they do it. There's no way they do it.
How do you not wait for Archie Manning? How do you not try to just keep stinking and getting better? So when you do go draft a quarterback, he has a roster to play with.
Or
Think
you
about
just
this.
pick
I don't
one that you
necessarily-
actually like.
Oh,
I don't necessarily think he's the guy either.
No.
well,
fuck that
because
guy.
this draft
Listen to what I'm
really
trying to
isn't
say.
great. The
No, I
Giants
hear
are going to
you,
have
though.
a
I
hard
hear your
time
point. I
trading
understand.
out of that pick.
Why do more organizations? I think you'll turn around quicker organizationally by waiting for the guy that you believe. Like, not saying, you know what? I don't believe in a guy in this draft. I believe in the DN from wherever over any of these other guys. I'm going to go draft him. Right. And then, next draft comes along and I'm a top 5 pick again. And I don't believe in these guys. I don't believe in them. I probably trade the fuck out of it, acquire more, draft more players so that when I'm really ready, that following year, hopefully, and I'm in the top 5 again, and I actually have young talent here, and I go draft a guy, I'm closer to being ready to win than I was before, instead of just being like, well, fuck, need a franchise guy. Who's the best? Who's the second best of the quarterbacks? Oh, it's Cam Ward. That guy. He was up at the Heisman. He was in New York.
I mean, Tommy, that all makes good sense, but because of the diluted talent in this year's draft, won't they have a tough time trading out of that pick?
Yeah,
I don't think as many.
Yeah,
I
no
don't
one's
think as
trading up.
many. I don't think
No,
as
you
many
don't do it.
teams are going
You
to be
don't do it this
clamoring.
year.
Right.
You do it like you trade out when you don't believe in one of the quarterbacks, and there's a lot.
Right.
Right? Like you don't think that this guy is worth a top 10 pick,
Yeah.
and you trade
Right.
out of it to allow somebody to get up there to acquire more. Not in this draft, unless somebody calls you that think Cam Ward is the guy, because somebody might.
Right.
You might
Someone
sit in the
will.
2-hole, and
Yeah.
somebody believes Cam Ward's the guy, and you don't. Listen, if he becomes a guy, he becomes a guy. But sometimes you got to trust yourself.
Right.
And they're more scared. They're more willing to miss on the guy to reach on them
Right.
than they are the other way. And that's what's crazy. And it costs more guys their jobs, because more guys could sell their job by having talent. By saying, look who I've drafted.
Yeah.
I've drafted faces of your organization at 4, at 3. Right? I drafted a cornerback who's a face of your organization. I drafted a linebacker who's becoming a face of your organization. I'll get you that quarterback.
Well,
Because now I have a track record showing I can draft well.
Well, look what happens when you draft quarterbacks at teams that are already fully built or fairly fully built. Jalen Hurts in our situation.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy in their situation.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, right? Even though it was a new head coach, they had a fairly veteran team down there,
Bo
right? So he
Nix.
comes in, Bo Nix in Denver, right? You draft these guys, whether they're high, low, mid-round, last pick of the draft. But if you, to your point, Tommy, if your team is already built and established, that's what makes Caleb Williams so frustrating. Is you thought that team was there, right? You thought that team was ready.
That team was just done now.
Yeah,
makes sense. It wasn't like a
And
slow
he's
burn.
not. Yeah,
It wasn't a slow burn of talent through the draft. Like they literally, Adunze, Caleb Williams, they signed DeAndre Swift, they signed Keenan Allen, and they already had DJ Moore. Like the only guy they had was DJ
he was
Moore.
only there for a year, and the defensive end Sweat that they paid like $97 million. Yeah, like
they haven't. Like I'm just guessing that their offensive line has not been done well throughout the draft. Yeah. Right. So they have not built the roster up ready to go for Caleb.
They're the team that didn't want Jalen Carter that we jumped and we're like, hey, we'll take Jalen Carter. You trade back. Yeah, that was them.
Yeah. John, Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, Johnny, Merry Christmas, brother.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas, brother.
But no, Sixers wise, they're obviously playing better basketball. So, I know it's Charlotte, but that's a team we would lose to. And it's nice to see Paul George and Maxey have a good little 2-man game going on. I mean, they dropped 73 combined between the two of them the other night, I believe it was. And it's good to see, because you just listen, you don't know what you're going to get from Joel Embiid, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to get into the dance right now. Like you're trying to scratch and claw, because I would assume McCain's going to come back if it's a meniscus, right? So,
but even if he's all right, let's say he's out indefinitely, which that's what it said. We'll say he's out until at least the deadline, which is in February. I feel like you can lock that in. There's no way he plays before the deadline. Yeah. So at that point, you're going to sit up to yourself and more likely than not still be below 500. And your best shot at getting in would be a play-in tournament win, and then at that point you play Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, or a team that you're fighting up against and you're barely healthy, you're scratching and crawling, you don't have home court advantage, you're not winning that series anyway. We saw it last year. So at what point do I just sit up with myself and I see all these rumors about who they might acquire? Where are the rumors and where's the kind of rumblings about who they might sell? Because that's where my head's at. We're too deep into the season. We're trying to pretend like he's going to come back and be healthy. And now you have guys like McCain who are going to be out for extended periods of time. I just don't understand the point of even trying to pretend like you can win right now. You can't. No one believes that. No one believes that. You have to convince yourself that it's not possible. It's not.
It's possible.
It's not. Not this year. It's not. It's impossible. It is impossible. You have 8 wins on the season, and 3 of them have come against the Hornets. It is impossible. It fully. You just lost another guy. These guys will continue to drop. Caleb Martin's been in and out now recently. I mean, you can't count on anyone to stay healthy. Well, and you're already below 500, way below.
I hear you. I'm saying since the moment Paul George and Tyrese Maxey have played together, I believe they've won 5 out of 7. So all I'm saying is there is signs of life right now. Take that for whatever it is, but they're playing better basketball. So when you get to
it's
February,
hard not to.
Well, it's hard to win. It's hard not to, but when you win 5 out of 7, that's a great start in the direction of what we said they had to do to get themselves out of this, right? And put them into a conversation as, hey, we might not be a playing team. And if we are a playing team, then so be it, right? Because go win it and get in and go on a run. I mean, it doesn't listen, I get it. The chances of us winning a championship are like slim to none, right? But I also don't want to punt a season in December. Not saying you said that. I just can't emotionally.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of am saying that because when you have this first round pick that is totally up for grabs, if you are not one of the 6 worst teams in the NBA, then I mean we're talking about a team who's going to be in the second apron. And we all know, we saw it this summer, how hard it is for teams to make trades, sign, and add on to a team when you're in that spot. If we're going to be a second apron team and we go through this whole play-in and we lose in the first round thing again, and you don't get your first round pick because of it, you're screwed. What do you do? How do you move forward? You can't get better. You can't get a new young player. It's ridiculously hard to trade and match salary at that point because of the rules. You can't sign anybody. So where are you getting better? Well, how? You're not. You have to run it back. That's it. So that's why you have to punt the season. Like you really don't have a choice. You have to. You put yourself in such a tough spot. You have to.
I think it's hard. I think it's going to be hard to punt a season.
Well, I agree with that too.
When you're rolling out 2 guys that they're 2 caliber.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to punt the season. I think they're more the middle of the pack team, and they're going to be good enough. That's all my point I'm making is that people in the chat calm the fuck down because I made it very clear it's not a championship contender. It's none of the above. But at the end of the day, they've been way better when those 2 play, and that's Maxey and George. I have every expectation that Tyrese Maxey isn't going to be banged up again. I mean, you know what I mean? Throughout his career, he's been a pretty healthy guy, knock on wood. George, who knows, right? But it seems like he's starting to get his vibe, his feel, and they're starting to play well together. That's all my point is. So, revving up for Christmas Day and that conversation and all that, like they're playing better. And that's just nice to see. Whatever that ends up becoming is a conversation for another day, right? And a lot of that's going to depend on sinus infection. So until that, this is still as constructed without Joel Embiid. It's still a good team if those 2 are playing. If those 2 are playing on a nightly basis, it's a good team in the East. It's not a contender, but it's a good one.
But have they beaten anybody of substance? Right? It feels like the teams that after we got Joel and we're like, Yeah, they won 5 of 7, but did they really beat anybody?
They
To,
beat
like, truly
Chicago.
give you hope?
So I know off the top of my head, Chicago and Charlotte,
Feels like
it
we've
makes
seen
up
this
for
game
4
before.
of the 8 wins. Those are half your wins right there in Chicago and Charlotte. I know that. The Magic they beaten that one time. That was a good win.
Okay.
I'm just looking it up now. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. The Nets and the Pistons. So no, they have not beaten anybody of substance whatsoever. But basically, what I was just saying is that if
3 in the East or 4 in the East.
Well,
no, right, that was a good
right.
win. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Neither has Josh Harris's football team.
Yeah,
They haven't beaten a team with a winning record yet this year.
When you stink and your record stinks, you just have to start beating the people in front of you.
Touché.
So when we talk about the last 7 games, you got to start just beating the people in front of you that you should beat. Like the way you get out of being where you were is you got to beat the teams you should beat. Like going into Friday, like the Hornets.
All I'm saying,
like you got to go beat them because we lost to Detroit before. No, my point is we lost to Detroit before, and we talked about you can't lose to Detroit. So then if we beat them, we did what we were supposed to do. Nobody's crowning, right? The whole point is I don't need them to beat somebody like Boston right now. I need them to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Because the only way you save a season in December is by doing that to start. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you guys. It's nothing to be like, woo. There's one. You know what I mean?
Right,
There's
but this is the question though. So when you go towards the deadline and McCain will be out probably through that point and all the other injuries you have and the lack of resources, like I said, why are there rumors and rumblings of us giving up more of those things for right now? Why is that the case? When I see a guy like Yabusele who has trade value across the NBA, and he's the guy because I am in the second apron, I know for damn sure I probably will not get him back on my team because I can't afford him. That's a guy where I trade, no doubt. And I understand I'm better off having him on my team, but I have to trade him because I have such limited stuff moving forward. I'm just saying the conversations I want to see going into February are more so like, how do we stack the deck for this summer? More so than be like, all right, how do we get better? Because you can't give up stuff for that right now. You can't afford it. You can't. It's too fragile.
Yeah, I'm not giving up stuff, but I can't answer right now how I'm going to feel in February. Right, I got to see how this next month plays out, and I think we all do.
I don't know.
Well, you're good. We're forced to. So, no matter how we feel about it, we're here to have to watch how this month plays out. And if they continue to play basketball like they have over the last 7 games per se, I think we might be having a different conversation in February. If they do not, then I'm all right with you, Luke. It's sell, and tank it out.
Yeah.
And miss on a pick. Sure, that's how that
works. They hit on the last one. We'll give them that.
You did.
Fellas, I got to run. I want to wish you all and your families and everybody out there listening to us a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
You too, bro.
Thank you, Santa Noah.
Take care. Yeah. No problem, Malakovic. No problem.
You too, brother. Best
tell all the elves in Orlando I say hello.
We'll see you on the green.
You got it.
Later, brother.
All right, later, guys. Enjoy.
It's such a crock, though, right? I get it, but that's the NBA just being so terrible, right? Like you take a shot and sign a guy like Yabusele, and he turns out. But because of where you are, you have literally no shot of bringing him back.
Yeah, none.
It's such a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Like what happened in the NBA, like giving their teams the better chance to sign their own players, right?
The players did it to themselves. They signed up on the bargaining agreement, and not good. Martian, I see you. I was way too excited too. I thought this was it for some reason. Even though going into the summer, I said I wanted no parts of Paul George. They brought him in, and I was still excited. Don't know why. It's the way of the world.
No,
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
he's better. He's better than I thought he was.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm with that too.
Like, I think sometimes, like, a guy gets a rep, right? And then you watch him play in front of your face, and you're like, all right, I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can
I
get
like
behind
him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
And we haven't had a guy here. Like, now we have two, but we haven't had a guy here in a minute who can create his own shot from the wing like he can. And it was something we were really missing. He absolutely can. And we all thought he could, but then you really watch him. Like, he just gets the spot so easy.
Yeah.
And so smooth. It's just fun to watch. And I just, just keep holding out hope that Uncle fucking sinus infection is going to put his tampons down and actually man up this year and play some significant basketball. Because if he does, I think that Chicago game, if you're looking for some hope, and they stink, Chicago. So I'm not talking about the Bulls having Jordan here. I'm talking about the way that game and the flip of the switch that they played with in that game. If you're looking for something out there to, like, hold on to,
A ray of hope. Yeah.
that's all I got for you. But, there it is. Because that was they all three didn't even play together in that game, did they? No, they did, right?
Yeah, they did. Maxey had a triple-double.
Yeah.
Maxey had a triple-double.
Yeah, because it was the home opener. It was their first home game together. That wasn't their first game together. It was the first home game together. Right. So yeah, I mean, that being said, like, that was a significant win. They probably win the other night at home if he doesn't get hurt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, we know they got a better shot.
Yeah.
If he plays. It's fucking amazing. It's the same conversation.
Oh my God, Michigan lost. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Want to do a college football?
Yeah. Let's get into it real quick.
Prediction. Like the two teams in the final. Let me see.
Penn State, Georgia.
Ooh. I have Penn State, Georgia as well. Yeah, I have that as well. Yeah. I mean, I have Georgia winning that, but I couldn't.
Without Carson Beck, I can't say that.
No, I'm with you. It really has nothing to do with the matchup between Georgia and Penn State.
Yep, I hear you.
It's not even Georgia against Penn State, more so than, like, I really have Penn State in the final of the no. There's no there's no chance. There's just no chance. I have no reasoning for it. They really should get there, especially if Peck doesn't play.
Would that be the final, or is that the semifinal?
That would be the semifinal.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking at the board.
That'd be the semifinal. So
right,
then the final would probably
Boise's the quarterfinal. Okay.
Yeah. So then the final would be Oregon, Ohio State, Texas.
Texas, right?
Yeah. I just think Oregon, and like, my thing is that Oregon is just far and away the best team in the country.
They're so good.
That if Penn State could hold up and go back and forth with them like that, I get it. The defense looked horrible, but at least I can walk away a little bit feeling more optimistic.
With that, though, you see him a second time.
Yeah.
A lot of that's different, right? They know
totally
that the slants over the middle are just going to eat them up if they don't do anything different.
I mean, yeah, you can't play man against those guys. They're too fast.
Yeah.
They're way too fast all over the field. It's insane. I think it's not even close. They're far and away the best team in the country.
Yeah.
The only shot you have at beating them is you catch them on a bad day. They're not just going to drop to anybody.
Yeah, I actually think Tennessee has a shot to upset Ohio State. I think it's even more than a shot, right? I think Texas handles Clemson.
I I think
or beats them. Sorry,
I'm leaning towards that, but part of me thinks that their inability to just like score at all, like consistently, is very scary. Like Clemson can go there and win easily, in my opinion.
That
Texas can't score.
Texas is
Yeah.
by the way.
I don't see how they're covering that.
Yeah.
That's insane. I don't understand that at all.
And then
they can't even score 12 points. How are they going to win? Yeah, like I don't get it.
I'm even shocked Ohio State's 7.5-point favorites over Tennessee.
Yeah, I saw that a third of that stadium is going to be some balls too.
Yeah, well, it's only a couple-hour drive from them.
Yeah,
it's not far.
Yeah, and there will be boo birds in that stadium for 1 3 and out.
Yeah,
they're screwed.
So that should be a good game though. Like that'll be a good game. SMU, obviously Penn State. Penn State's 8.5 points.
Don't get that one either.
I do because they're at home. SMU just
no.
lost,
I think it should be higher.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be higher. I don't get
10.
that.
Probably should be 10.
Yeah,
and then potentially it's either this game tomorrow night or Friday night is either going to be a great game or it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any in between. Right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Either Indiana shows up and plays really well, or Notre Dame just proves that Indiana shouldn't be anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming up this weekend. And
definitely a favorable path for the fellas, though. For sure.
I mean, at minimum, they're going to be the best team on the field.
Oh, they will be. They can go out
when they get to Georgia.
Yeah, they can legitimately say and have a very valid argument that they are the best team all the way until the championship game.
Yes.
Which is crazy to say.
Yes.
Crazy to say.
And no shot at Dylan Gabriel, but like Dylan Gabriel has no business finishing third in the Heisman. Right? No. Cam Ward and Shedeur, as we talked about earlier, even though there's still, I think I agree with you all. I think there's a lot of questions around Cam Ward, pro-wise, but his stats, him and Shedeur's stats in college,
ridiculous.
This year were so much better than Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. It was. That's you talk about Genty and Hunter all you want. I think any other year Hunter wins it. You know what I mean? I just think it's this year was just an odd one, but this also puts into perspective Reggie Bush's Heisman year, right? How much Ashton Genty just blew him away and then didn't win. Yeah. And then also Charles Woodson, they called him I love Charles Woodson in college, but he played 5 snaps. It's like Charles Woodson did hand Genty his Heisman and be like, here, we'll swap because Hunter's really the two-way guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it should be hopefully it's a good weekend. I just think the NFL is such a piece of shit, putting up a game at 1 and a game at 4 against the college football playoffs. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well,
the
college football playoff needs to, as bad as the NFL is, they need to revamp this whole process of how it's going on. It's benefiting Penn State more than anybody, so I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
But
we'll take the screw up here.
Yeah, but it is a joke that the 6th seed in your bracket can walk away with not even debatable the easiest path to the whole thing. Yeah. There should be reseeding. There should not be automatic buys. The whole thing is a mess. And honestly, I think if you're dipping your toes into being a professional-like league, I think you can't do both. I think you just got to go all in and say, to hell with the conferences, because you're there at that point. Yeah. You're there. You're there. And say, I don't want to hear shit anymore about strength of schedule. There needs to be a committee that comes in and gives all the Power 5 schools at equal or close to it, equal scheduling. I don't want to hear anything about strength of schedule anymore. Yep. How a 2-loss team ahead of a 1-loss. None of that. Just eliminate all of it, because then it becomes so decision-based and it's just like a joke. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. The fact that you don't reseed, I mean, what the hell are you thinking? Penn State, in order to get to the semifinal game, has to play SMU and freaking Boise State, and Oregon's punishment the reward for being the number one team in the entire country from start to finish is to play Ohio State, Tennessee, and Texas.
Yeah, well, it's not so
what
much. I don't think it's so much the reseed as much as you gave teams like Boise State and Arizona State a bye.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like they could be in. They could be in. You're a conference champion, you're in. You're one of the 12. But you're not one of the top 4. Like just because you won your conference doesn't make you the top 4, right? Because in theory, the 6 seed always gets the 3 seed in a bracket format. It's just no one truly believes that Boise State is the 3rd best team in the country.
Nobody believes that.
Yeah, so that's where the disparity is, right? And I think like Ohio State and Tennessee are rightly ranked and whatnot. But to your point, that's just Oregon's like, then why did we win? We should have lost.
Yeah.
We should have lost. We should have gave Penn State this, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many things that you could talk about. Are they the 12 best teams in the country? No. But they're the 12 based off of your criteria that you came up with. Like, to your point, if you're going to have conference champions in here, then you're never going to have the 12 best teams. Never.
You're just not going to.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's hard, and it would take probably a CBA even to make this work, and it would take years probably to figure out the right way to do it. But you got to go pro-like style. You have to, because it's gotten that close.
This is where I think you go. There are no conferences.
Yeah.
You do a top half, the top 60 schools, and it's a whole, like, you keep your rivalries, right? I think you keep whatever it is. You want whatever you want to pick, 10 games, right? So 3 games are like geographical rivalries, right? So Ohio State's always going to play Michigan, right? All those things. Georgia's always going to play Bama, stuff like that. But those other 6-7 games are everybody throughout the top 60. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the bottom 60 fight for whatever the hell they want to fight for, right? But you can't go conferences. You can't do conferences anymore. Not if you're doing this, and not if you're paying kids like it's pro ball. You know, like it's crazy that Quinn Ewers already has $4 million to go to Oregon next year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know, and then as we talked about off air, right? You got to fix the portal dates. You got to fix all this stuff. You even got to fix the signing day, which was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, right? You got to put that at a different time now because
so you have guys scheduling and game planning for playoff games, which you hype up to be the biggest event in your sport. And then they have to leave in the middle of the prep week to go on the road and recruit. And it's like, the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
That's not going to be here next year.
Yeah.
That's not going to be here next year.
Yeah. And then that kid that you went off to recruit for could be like, you know what? I don't want to go to Penn State anymore. I want to play. Clemson just offered me $12 million. I'm going to go play over there.
Exactly.
The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Not even a little bit.
No.
And college football single-handedly by this woke country at times that college athletes need to be paid for their likeness turned into way more than it was supposed to be.
Yes.
It was supposed to be you can make money off your name and likeness.
Yeah.
But I think the good news is with all this is that, it's really bad right now, but it's still better than what it was. And I think that the things that they messed up on are so correctable that someday, whether it be in the near or far future, it's going to be, I think it will trump the NFL and become that major sport. Like day in and day out, be like a better product. Like, do you watch the NFL now? There are bad product out there every single week.
Well, both games on Monday night were trash.
Horrible. I mean, there are bad teams all across the NFL.
I'll tell you why over time, it may lose that feel. It's because of the money.
Yeah.
Right. Like right now, it's still pure, even though guys are getting paid. But I think over time, when it becomes more of a business and guys talk about it at the college level, this is a business. I think it starts to lose its, that part of its luster, right? Sadly, but it might not. It might not affect the product, but it might affect the perception of the product.
Yeah.
You know,
Did
maybe.
you see this
Weird.
alleged
It's weird.
NIL deal for that kid from Texas Tech? Did you guys see that?
No.
I'm trying to find the photo. Oh my god! So the kid from what's his name? Micah Hudson, wide receiver, went to Texas Tech. So his alleged NIL deal, $700K minimum wire up front for 1 year deal. Separate NIL deal for 3 cars for family members. Personal driver with Cadillac SUV for Micah from spring practice through end of season. Family hotel and travel arrangements paid each game with up to 10 members to have travel, tickets, and costs paid for. Medical injury, time off, and playing after injury determined only by Micah and family. And this was for Texas Tech. This wasn't even for like a big dog school.
Right. So what do
Like,
you think someone like
that's
Drew
insanity.
Aller got? Yeah, someone like Drew Aller got convinced to come back to school an extra year versus going to be in the draft. And, you know, he's going to test well in the combine.
Probably top 10, top 5 if someone's smart, but top 10, right?
Yeah, I saw yesterday he's top 3 favorite for the Heisman next year.
Yeah. Well, now he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Take
Like
that.
that's insanity. So to your point, Tommy, like if stuff like this is true and gets leaked, like Jackson Dart, right? Like Jackson Dart. But why does Jackson Dart need a private jet NIL deal? Like, what's he need a private jet for?
Yeah, he's a punk.
What do you need a private jet for? You know, it's crazy though, and I agree. There's got to be some limitations on it, right? If you transfer out early, then you owe money back, right? Whatever it is, or there's got to be something that limits the movement because it is getting insane.
Well, it's got to be a contract.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like anybody else is paid on structure and blah, 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 blah. Like, you sign a 2-year deal with the school.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, or
And if you want to leave and go to another place, that school has to agree to pick up that same contract. Otherwise, you can't leave. Just something like that.
And I think they got to bring back the
you
penalty
can't go.
Like to sit out a year or something along those lines, right? There's got to be, and I know it's tough, right? But there's got it, or we got to figure out the money differently, right? You know what I mean? Why doesn't every team just get paid then? Because every player gets paid.
Well,
just
next year is the monumental year where I think they're hoping it changes, where the schools can pay them up front. That's the first year of that. So I think that they're hoping that there's some sort of change and more continuity in terms of bringing guys back once they're getting paid up front by the school.
I don't know how it'll work, but I heard the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks talking about how he's in conversation and negotiations to buy a portion of the
the
right of whatever schools. Like you're going to have billionaire
Wisconsin
owners, just like owning a portion of your franchise, just like a professional sports team.
Right. They got the dough to pay it.
It'll become like baseball.
Yep, and they're going to get the return on their investment. So all these schools are going to do is they're going to break money people into their schools that have it, and they're going to spend it, and these guys are going to get returns on their investment because it's a great product.
I just hope there's no like Saudi Arabian money that comes like the Live Golf Tour and stuff like that. Yeah,
they just signed.
Then it would get real out of hand.
Yeah,
it would. It would get really out of hand if that started to happen.
They're about to sign a deal with Fox.
Yeah. On that note, I'm out. So you guys want to continue? Feel free.
Let's go. We're good.
All right. Great show, everybody.
We are.
Great show, boys. We are. Good luck this weekend. Everybody out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See you. Enjoy your time with family, loved ones. You know, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Go
Merry
Birds,
Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The Sixers are back. Go Birds, and we'll see you guys next week. Later.